focused on
slacking,
helping
man.
get you up.
Slacking.
All right, now I'm
There
just
we go. Stream is going. So
You're playing with Amon's sword and you're trying to get him up. I mean, and welcome to the stream.
yes, it took him all that time to get him up too. Such a shame.
Yep. Heck, you know.
Oh, Andrew was the only one who was able to actually do it.
Once we're off the stream, I'll tell you guys a terrible story about something along those lines. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know. Should I be afraid? I think so.
All right. Well, while he is getting a drink, Grendel, you get to recap again because you haven't gotten me my things yet.
Oh gosh.
It's the
Okay.
curse.
So, let me think. We had just at the beginning of the last episode, we just fought some harpies, and they had been assailing some of the local dwarves, and managed to kill all the harpies. And I think one maybe got away, and also did not lose a single dwarf in the process. We managed to keep all the dwarves alive, minus a foot. One of them lost a foot.
Missed it by a foot.
And we were still searching for our the man we had been hired to find and recover, if at all able. And after a bit more searching, we found a kind of a clearing in the forest that had statues of people, lifelike statues of people, really lifelike statues of people, like as if Raphael the artist were out in the jungle carving statues or the forest carving statues of people, which is kind of odd. And
Which, for the record, I totally thought we were going to come across Medusa.
Me too. Like out of character, I was like, ah, shit, it's a Gorgon, and we're all fucked. But no, it was. We found a cave also in the area, and there was a halfling in the cave, and the halfling had kind of an odd quality about him. He definitely was off, and we were kind of trying to put our finger on exactly what was causing that until we had discovered that there was the main room and two other rooms, and Crinch went to one of the other rooms where he had been carving looked like a dire bear, and when he came back, he asked to go to the other room, and that's when this halfling attacked us. And we managed to take care of him, though a couple of the party took a nap during the process. And afterwards discovered that the many people, including the person that we were hired to find, had been carved as statues, but were also dead in this guy's closet, unfortunately. So we returned with that news to the lady who hired us, and some of the party feel guilty about taking all of her money that she offered. Lucius doesn't, because it's the deal. She said this is the deal, and he was like, okay, cool. But that's last I knew where we left off. I don't think I'm missing anything. Am I missing anything?
Our cohorts, if you will, back at our super secret base, they came to us wanting to open up a shop.
Oh, right. They want
for a whole bunch of gold.
Yeah, they want to set up like a general store, basically.
Yep.
And I think they want like 1,000 gold to do it, and we're like,
No, it
oh,
wasn't
we've
quite
got.
that much. It was I think it was like 750 or something.
700.
700.
close.
We just got a lot of money, but
Well, and I also this last week I went back and I looked up all of those random bags of gems. I actually have it written down for you guys.
oh, okay, excellent. So we have a decent amount of money. It would probably drain us to set that up, but it would be a worthy cause, and maybe maybe this guy that died, whose lady paid us. What was his name? I don't even remember his name. But maybe we can like put a bench out there with his name plaque on it or something as kind of remembrance.
And I think after that, Crench played the
Oh.
ultimate wingman.
Right, Merrick went on his date, and that seemed to go pretty well, from what I recall.
I mean,
And
it's if you call it date, healing your the person you're trying to date's mother.
it was a date. Like not only was it a date, it was like a power move. So they were doing that and had just sent word that they were calling for us, and we've got another job apparently that we're going to do.
2 jobs.
2 jobs, that's right. Headed to the east and north, but mostly east. One of them is to protect a town. The other one wasn't to escort the lady, was it?
No, you guys investigate a missing woman.
The missing woman. I knew a lady was involved. I couldn't remember exactly how. And I believe that's where we left off.
It is. Specifically, Lucius and Eamon and Bremen were riding from Latour to catch up because you guys stayed behind to do some stuff. If you so choose, Merrick and Crench, you can spend the day cashing in those random stuff that I gave you guys if you want while you're waiting for them, so you can be productive if you want to do that.
Yep.
Okay. So 1 bag of miscellaneous gems. One of you guys write this down for distribution.
Um,
Was
I mean,
cashed in for 50 gold pieces.
Let me write it down. 50. Okay.
There were 6 random art pieces that were stolen at some point. You cashed those in for 25 gold pieces each, which would bring you to another 150 gold pieces total. Another handful of gems cashed in for 30.
Sorry, I did disappear for a minute. I'm back.
That's fine. And then another one for 80. So 200, 310 is the total. So an additional 310 gold pieces for the party.
Oh, then we for sure got enough then to do the thing.
You also have those 3 potions. I don't know who wrote those down, but you have a potion of heroism, a potion of diminution, and a potion of invulnerability.
You said potion of heroism, potion of
Diminution, and a potion of invulnerability, and a potion of reminding you to keep track of your own loot.
Actually, I do have it written down here. I just don't have it in a good organized manner, and so I will commit to
that. Speaking of housekeeping, Goose, I had mentioned about when I had written that letter to now the name's escaping me.
Lord Hughes.
Lord Hughes, yeah, about anybody wanting to send anything, sending it to our crate, and keeping. And I kept forgetting that I should be checking the Leorel merchant crate for anything they might send. Have they ever sent anything?
They have never sent anything.
No. Okay.
So, I've got 310 gold pieces on my person plus 131, so I've got 441 gold pieces on my person.
Correct. Assuming you guys are dividing stuff equally, they'll make sure you break up between what's to be divided and what's yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll give these guys 310. I mean, I've been buying all these adventures, so I don't know.
Well,
all right. So what do you say you guys spend 3 or 4 hours schlepping around town selling gems and art? Anything else you want to do before they get there?
Well, we're gonna need to meet them at the southern gate because otherwise they're not gonna have access to the crate. Because we have the deeds, so I guess we'll just after we're done with that, unless you have anything else you want to do, Merrick, we can just go wait for them outside the southern gates and meet them there.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, then you guys are reunited, the 4 of you and Brennan. It would be just about 6:30 in the evening.
If we're gonna buy the house for these guys, like out of character. If we're gonna get the thing, we might as well not divvy that loot up.
Okay.
And just, I mean, because that I assume would be a collaborative effort between all of us, assuming we all want to do it. Is that something we all want to do? Because it'll just be easier to pool it and then
Let me
pull
put
it
it
out
this
of
way: I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I'm in.
Well,
Okay.
the bottom line is we have to look. We have to decide if we want to look long term with all of this, because ultimately, unless we have something we want to use all this gold for in the short term, this seems like a good investment for the long term. Assuming we go out, we do our adventures, we come back, because it's going to take a month for this to even get started up and get rolling. And then after that, it would take, better than 2 months for us to make a profit off of it. So it is definitely something that we're looking long term. Would be an amazing game for our group and allow us to kind of gain some power and
I think it makes sense to
influence.
do. I'm just, so is everyone down to do it? Like, it sounds like Emin is, obviously Crinch is, Merrick, I assume.
Yep, I'm down.
Okay, so since everyone's down, we've got 310 from the thing, what you guys just did, and we got how much from doing the one mission?
Well,
She
we-
gave you 480 gold.
Okay, so really we have 98 gold left over that would need to be divvied up. Unless, did we already divvy up the gold from the?
What do
You
you
have it because you guys. This is the first time you guys have been together
So
since.
we have 331 and or 310, and then how much did the lady give us?
488.
Plus 488. That's 798. And
Right. So we have 98 gold to divvy up between us.
I thought we
if
needed 1,000 to do this.
No, we need 700.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have 98 gold to divvy up. So that's
25 for 2 and 24 for 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take one of the 24s.
So wait,
Alright, so for-
that was before because we had already divvied out the money. I had changed my.
The 480 that he got from the widower.
We had already divvied that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then all you got to do is undivvy it, and you guys will have enough.
Oh,
That
I didn't know we divvied it. I'm still at 75 gold.
That was
Definitely had more than 75.
Uh,
Yeah, that was somewhere up there that he had told us to just add it.
oh,
Okay,
well,
what-
what's 488 divided by 4? Because then we'll know.
It's 120.
Okay. So I'll never add the 120. So you guys who divvied it up take 120 out, and then we'll add the 300, and we're good, right? Or wait,
Right.
no, take 100 out, right?
Yeah,
And
if
then-
everybody takes 100 off, if you've already divvied, you take 100 off your total, you're paid,
Okay, we're good then.
right? And then that includes this little amount that he's got over there. Ignore what Merrick just put in there.
Okay. So, Grendel, you need to add 20 then
So Grendel needs to add 20 then, correct?
to make sure you're good.
All right, I have 95 gold.
Perfect.
And I've got
The richer the
31 gold because I spent 75 gold on buying us missions.
Which reminds me,
Right.
I'm gonna hand him 20 gold, and I'm gonna tell
Oh,
the other two. We all owe him about 20 gold each because he's been buying all the contracts.
Well, he spent 50 on 2. Oh, did he buy the
He
original?
bought the first one and he bought 2, so he spent 75. So if we split that cost evenly, it's 20, 20, 20, and 15. And since he's been, carrying the load, I think he takes the 15, and we pay him 20, and then we're square.
I'm back down to 75.
All right. So
Well, that's a lot more than I got.
Hey, B, real quick question. We're not doing Electrum pieces, right? That just kind of doesn't exist?
well, I mean,
Know what you said?
You never know what kind of odd treasure you run across.
No. The actually in coin, it goes copper, silver, Electrum, gold, platinum.
Right.
Electrum is just kind of a weird middle one you don't have to pay attention to.
So it's 10 silver equals 1 gold then?
Yes. 10.
Is there?
10.
Think of it like a 50-cent
No.
piece.
But there's a reason why I'm asking. Is there somewhere I can trade in on my gold, copper and my silver and kind of switch it to gold?
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
probably any of the guild houses or the merchant houses you could do
Well,
it.
considering I have like 571 copper,
Well, I mean,
406
you guys,
silver.
I also assume at some point you guys aren't going to want to carry around all of your treasure. You do have a guild house and people there, like.
Right.
So, I mean.
Well,
getting
we're
captured,
putting a
robbed-
big giant load into it right now. We can
Correct.
carry the rest, but yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna suggest that we all go sit down and maybe grab a drink, talk about what we want to do, our upcoming plans while we divvy this loot out and everything.
Okay, so you guys go find the local tavern while you're. So you're basically having a business meeting with some food and drink. And while you guys are talking about this, Brennan kind of said, I wanted to bring this up. I'm really excited about the opportunity to go with you guys. And when you first invited me, I had these like visions of grandeur and riches, and then I saw a dwarf without a foot and blood and guts everywhere, and I feel like I am grossly inadequately equipped to deal with that.
Well, that's why we've been trying to keep you a little bit back for the moment. This is kind of what I mentioned at the beginning of this process was until you're trained, until you're actually to the point where you can handle yourself. We're not going to throw you into any of those situations. You've been seeming a little disappointed when you couldn't jump into the fray with us, but there's a reason I've been having you stay back.
Yeah, but to be fair, I stayed back last time, and a giant stone statue attacked me.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have some coin to go grab some proper leather instead of these padded things, and maybe a sword.
I'll pat him on the shoulder and say, "Don't worry, I'll buy you a blindfold."
So I'll ask him. I'm like, so you're referring to you feel you're not equipment-wise properly
Yes,
equipped.
literally, he feels he's not equipped. Not mentally. He's literally feels ill-equipped to.
Well, I think. What do you think, boys? I think we can fix that, right?
Because
I believe
basically
so.
all he has right now is padded armor and a dagger.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, that
Yeah, I
doesn't work.
think what we should probably be looking for you for is
He can have my magical sword.
I'm thinking.
Go ahead, try to give it to him.
I'm thinking studded leather armor.
Right,
I'm thinking studded leather armor and a hand crossbow would do you just fine. How does that sound?
Well, it's better than padded armor.
Why a hand crossbow? Get him a bigger one.
Well, can you use something bigger than a hand crossbow?
He can use a light crossbow, absolutely.
Is he proficient in longbows?
He is proficient. He's a rogue, so he's proficient in everything you're proficient in. Minus
Then
your
yes, he is.
Do rogues get longbow proficiency?
I believe so. Yes, 99% sure. I will double check before I move
Okay.
forward with that.
I know they get short bow.
They 100% get short bow, and they also get light crossbow. I don't.
Ooh, it might only be short bow. You might.
Pretty sure it's
hold
only
on.
short bow.
Yeah, I think a hand crossbow is a little easier to learn, but ultimately it's up to you. You let me know what you need, and we'll try and get it for you.
He said, "Well, he said, in my perfect world, a short sword, some leather armor, and a crossbow would be glorious."
Okay. Well, I guess my question here is how much of the gold of the 700 do we have to get them to get started? Because some of that was earmarked for specifically filling the shop, which they're not going to need to do for the next month. So we could give them part of the 700 right now and save some of the rest for supplies.
That is true. You could definitely give them half. We'll say half for construction costs. But keep in mind, if you're not back within a month, they'll have an empty store.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is we may not be back for a while, depending on how things go, because we might have to continue east.
Now, the town that the contract is to protect is 10 to 12 days ish out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is I mean, we need to figure out what we're gonna do. Like we need to make like we're sitting right here. This is where we make our plans. We're on Friday. We got a couple of days here until we gotta have this funeral thing going on Monday. And we also, by the way, one of the things we need to take care of is just probably report this mass murdering halfling to the authorities. By the way, might be a reward in it for that for us. I don't know. Guess we'll have to go see. But because we got contracted to find a missing person and came across a
Did we?
bigger thing.
I think we might have had Andrew fill out that paperwork. Did I have you do that, Andrew? Did he bring?
You
all
had
the
me fill
contracts?
out a portion, but I said it's mostly complete. I said we hadn't reported it back to the person.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, you guys could just the registry would be the place to do all that.
Sure. So we can go back there, and we want to make sure we tell them all the details, and so they can go and make the appropriate arrangements for everybody. But,
Well, I assume that
in the
when me
meantime-
and Emin talked to the lady, we got some sort of thing saying, yes, the task is complete.
Sure.
So I think that we should do that, but I think we should spend. I'm game for giving money to the cause of making sure Brandon doesn't get himself killed.
Well, here's the deal: I'll ask him, "Are you okay with carrying a longsword?" And yes, Brian, he is proficient in it.
He is capable of using a longsword. He would be better with a short sword, but he's perfectly capable of using one.
Okay. Well, we had two longswords from when we raided the
Sure, you can give him one of those.
gnomish dude.
Well,
But
we can
we-
go to a blacksmith and probably just trade it straight across for a short sword.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll try
I mean,
that.
those are back at the house because you guys said you wanted to leave them there for the guys, but you could certainly raid it.
Well, hold on. Because the most expensive thing that he's gonna need is that studded leather.
Well,
That's
the
40.
It's 45. Yeah,
If we get him a hand crossbow, those are like 70.
those are 75. Yeah.
They smokes, yeah, they are.
So I think we get him a light crossbow.
So
Okay.
instead of another 45.
The light crossbow is 25.
And the short sword's 10. So 55, 65, 75, 80 would be the total cost.
I'm down with throwing 20 gold towards him. Are you guys on board or no?
Sounds good to me.
Why don't we just take it
Okay.
out of the 300 that we're not giving to the
What?
call it?
I thought we were going to give him the 300 so that way if we're not back, they can
Okay. Well,
buy their supplies.
I'll give him 20 gold, and now I am down to 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't have anything. You don't have any copper or silver.
I've already transported all that over. I've been doing that the whole
How
time.
do you only have that much? I will cover Crunch's
Yeah.
20 and wink at him and tell him you can pay me back later, big guy.
All right.
All right.
All right, so Brandon will spend the day tomorrow outfitting himself.
Okay.
And anything else you guys want to do tonight, or are you gonna go to Saturday morning?
Well, one of the things we have to also talk about while we're here is we still should seek out and handle this thing with the Golden Circle. I'm still worried that there's a chance that either Dog's crew might come back because we have never figured out what's happened with those guys, but the Golden Circle would probably know. Or the Golden Circle might come back to the place and try to claim the land as their own. So if we're going to be having, there's no reason for us to even invest this 700 gold unless we know that the Tor House is actually secure.
That's fair. I'll go with you to do that tomorrow. I have to go by the tannery first. It won't take me long though.
Okay, that can be tomorrow's thing because we've got 2 more days before we got to be back down. And I mean, I'm gonna look over to Lucius. I'm like, are you taking care of these arrangements, or how exactly is this ceremony coming to be?
I will be. Pardon me. I will be taking care of it.
Okay. So you still have tomorrow available to do that then, and you'll still have time to take care of the rest of it.
It's not till Monday, right, Goose?
Yeah, you probably want to
And-
get down there a day early to
So then you can maybe go down Sunday and Okay.
And there's no like materials or special things I'm gonna need to do it. It's just
No, I mean you already have what you would need to hold. That you just have that.
Yeah.
And then if you guys opted to bring that money down there, you could just take it with you, so you don't have to entrust it to anybody. And then at that point, you guys can decide if you're going to take off or what you're going to do exactly. So
Yeah.
hopefully you can tie up your loose ends, but and after the services Monday, you can do whatever you're going to do.
One more thing I want to bring up is just in general, I think, we've been in a few battles. I don't think it's been the most efficient battling. I think you guys will agree we've been a little bit clunky in how we've been doing. I want to know if you guys are interested in having a discussion about, maybe trying to focus on different, strategies or specialties or how we approach. Like, we've never had any kind of. We've just been kind of flying by the seat of our pants when we go into these fights, and not really having any talks about what exactly we're doing.
I look up from my drink, put it down kind of slowly, and say, "You've got a problem with a bear?"
Not at all. But what I will say is, if you're gonna be jumping into the fray as an animal all the time, that's just fine by me. But that means we got nobody in the back trying to keep us alive. Because this guy over here seems to prefer to, and I point to Lucius, seems more interested in killing things than actually healing everybody. No offense intended.
And I respond with, "He did a pretty good job with the dwarves," and then take another sip from my beer. Just, real kind of just like...
like Kermit the Frog sipping tea.
Exactly.
You'll have to excuse me. You were asleep while my shin was being ripped open, and he wasn't really doing a whole lot to help me with it.
And who pissed off the halfling?
Well, maybe the 4 people that walked into his parlor.
One of us tried to open his door, though.
Okay.
I think he's got a bum shin this afternoon.
All right.
But
Fair enough.
as I say all this, I say it with a wink, and I say, "But I love you, Crunch."
Yeah.
So, would you prefer that I hang back a bit more, guys, and do a little more healing and whatnot, or are we feeling pretty good with me turning into beasts and ripping stuff apart?
I have a mechanics question.
Okay.
Like, as a type of druid that Andrew is, can he cast spells in animal form?
He cannot.
Yeah,
He can hold concentration,
yes.
Okay.
but he cannot cast.
Yeah,
Does he get that?
Yeah, like level 16 or 18.
Ooh. Okay.
It's a
At
ways.
some point I can, but it's going to be a bit.
So let's just go with no.
Yeah.
I guess
for now, no.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I think we should have one person in this group focusing on healing. It doesn't matter to me who it is. If I could do it, I'd be fine doing it. But
From strictly from a mechanics standpoint, if I help you kill him, he will do less damage total than if I heal you, and he's always going to do more damage than I can heal. Always.
From a meta standpoint, it's been proven over and over that it is better to heal when they go down than to try to keep you up while it's
until
to
somebody
heal as you
loses a shin
Maybe literally. That's what
or a foot.
the
Like-
action.
Then I look over at Lucius, or a foot.
Your guys are correct. The action economy and rules as written in 5th edition, it is better to let someone drop and bring them up than heal them. However, if you are using an injury table like we are, that is not accounted for in that. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
There's that fine line you're skirting between when you do this is taking that part of it into account.
so
Right.
I would say, with taking that into account, not in game talk or RP talk, it should be that once you're getting low, you should be disengaging and finding other ways so you can get healed. But otherwise, we should still be, in my opinion, trying to get the guy down as fast as possible.
I will also counter you that if I'm taking half damage from something, I think you can heal probably about as quickly as they can deal damage to me. But
And I've got no issue, guys. I've got no issue personally. Like, you know, out of character, like I have no issue playing some support and doing that. And then in character, I think Merrick, the way I'm trying to play him is that he certainly cares about the people that he's friends with. Like, I'm not going to be the one to heal dwarves because I'm suspicious of, you know, like, okay, why? I mean, obviously harpies are assholes, so, you know, they're probably the bad guys in this situation. But you know, Merrick is more going to lean towards healing his friends and people he knows, or, you know, feels indebted to in some way, than just random folks. But to that end, you know, if it makes sense for me to transfer out of a beast shape.
Are you up to 3 changes per long rest now, or still at 2?
I am level 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
well, and out of game, what I'm suggesting is the possibility that you can utilize your healing until you're out, and then you can transform into a beast anytime. But then you're wasting that charge of transforming into a beast. If you go into a fight like that and then come out of it to heal and then want to go back in, like
Right.
reversing the order. But in character, what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter to me who heals. It's fine, whoever, you know. But what I am saying is that right now we're all just running into the fights and, you know, letting the chips drop where they may. I do think that there's a more organized way for us to do this, where we can be on the same page. And I'm open to suggestions, but that the way I see it is, you know, 3 of us going in to melee can be okay. All 4 of us doing it and nobody healing, that's, you know, somebody's going to end up losing a foot soon. And it's probably not, and I'm like, and then again, stoically, it's probably not going to be me. I'm thinking of you guys.
To be fair, I actually do think it'll be you, Crunch. I mean that in the most loving way, but I think it will be you.
Okay. Believe what you want.
In character, Emin would be like, "What are you talking about? I take out the biggest guy. I just charge. That's his 7 intelligence speaking." um, yeah, I would be happy to support, but I have 0 support.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Options.
You don't have the aptitude. Neither do I. That's,
I
not
don't.
that's not a problem.
Yeah, I would if I could, guys, but I got nothing. And I try to, even outside of that, like, it helps me, but I also try to get on the opposite of you guys to make sure you guys are getting advantage. Because all I need to do is have you guys in melee with the guy I'm at. I could be anywhere around him, and I get advantage and get my sneak attack because of my abilities as a rogue. But I try to get on the opposite to help as far as that support and whatnot. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I guess my point is that I feel like healing to top somebody off at the start of a fight is pretty much as valuable as waiting deep into the fight to see who needs healing. Keeping people up is it's important. You know, it's an important part of battling. But
So
I agree. I
here's
agree and
my-
I disagree because you don't know who's going to suddenly take damage, and if you pre-heal just to get them to the top, and suddenly someone's all the way at the bottom, and you have no heal spells left,
like,
because it does. Yeah, sorry, go.
my counter argument is, okay, I can heal you for 2d4 plus my wisdom modifier, or I can inflict wounds for 4d10 plus my wisdom modifier. Like, the second number is much bigger. Those are the same level of spell. Now, I always make sure that I have at least 1 or 2 healing spells left in case someone goes down, so I can get them back up. But I don't know in the injury table how likely having a severed foot is. Like, I imagine that's a pretty gnarly one. That's
I'll let you
not
know.
very common.
I will post it for you guys so you to see it.
bottom line is, I'm just saying, like, I think we, you know, anyway, I think we've talked about it enough, but We can consider more, talk about it later if we need to, but just pointing
Yeah,
it
that
out.
makes
And I did want to ask you guys have talked about how against the idea of bringing somebody back from the other side is in our, other thing that we shouldn't probably talk about in mixed company. But I want to know if you guys feel the same way when it comes to us, to the four of us. If I go down in the middle of a fight and I don't get back up, and I'm gonna look over to Lucius because I don't think Merrick can do this. Like, are you gonna just let me die there, or if we have the means, are you gonna be willing to bring me back?
That is not an ability I possess at this time.
And it's insanely expensive.
I think Grendel at 3rd level you get Revivify, right?
And yeah. If
Third level,
he
it's
gets
a
it,
third level spell.
I've looked it up. That's why I'm bringing it up. We're getting it to level 5 in a couple of, But yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is morally speaking, for the future. Because if so, we might want to think about saving some of the gold we earn from these next couple of missions towards getting enough components for one of those.
Well,
If not, then nothing to talk about. But
So you want a magical life insurance policy, is what you're saying?
basically, or at least an 80% chance of one.
I want to say resurrection is the lowest one where we can come back and we're basically not. As
Revivify, yeah.
Revivify is the lowest one.
Yeah.
You gotta be dead for like less than a minute.
Right.
You gotta catch him within the first minute.
So basically during, or shortly after the combat, yeah.
So next level.
I mean, if I'm dead for a year, I don't expect you guys to come find me and raise me up. But if I'm battling beside you, I just want to know how important it is for me to tuck tail and run in those situations.
Yeah, I would say it's, if you're hurting, run. You know what I mean?
Sure.
CYA, cover your ass, But on an outside of that, I already have my second character planned out.
Fair enough.
Just because it's, with how expensive and everything required, I just don't know.
I want to let Lucius answer the moral question though.
I already know his answer.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, hence why I have a second character already made.
Jesus.
I will. I'll look Cringe straight in the eye and say that we priests of Ilmater generally believe that what dies should stay dead. However, there are instances where exceptions can be made. And I would say that decision is not up to me.
Who is it up to?
I'll just point at the sky and then take a drink from my beer.
I'll do the same.
I'll chime in and say, and he doesn't like half orcs, and drastically laugh out loud.
I will take
That's
the
a
hilt
7
of
intelligence.
my glaive and shove Amon backwards over his chair.
Alright, so by this time of the day, Goose, what time is it?
Well, you guys have been having a business meeting and drinking. You met outside the gate at 6:30, so what, 7:38?
Okay.
So with all this talk of healing, I ask if anybody would like some good berries.
That's what we need to do. We need to give Jay just like 30 good berries, and when he gets low, he just like shoves them into his mouth.
Reach into the pouch, just... Sense of being.
Nom, 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 nom.
I can just see, like, if
How
it's a
many
good-
can you make a day?
I can when I make good berries, it's a cantrip, or it's a spell, and I can make 10 at a time for 24 hours.
Yeah, they're only magical for 24 hours though, so it's not like you can stack them. Otherwise it would be broken.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Anything else this evening, or are we going to Saturday?
Going to Saturday,
All right.
in my book
Great.
at least. Didn't Lucius have something to do tonight though?
He said tomorrow. I think he wanted to hit the Tanner. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So Brennan gets an early start to go make sure he is properly equipped for his new adventuring lifestyle. What are the rest of you doing on your Saturday?
I'm going to the tannery.
I've,
Okay.
I've gotten up early, and went and got donuts for the group and brought them back.
All right. When you guys get up, there's donuts waiting for you.
Ooh.
I
Nice.
eat the donuts.
Emmon does a little happy dance and eats a donut.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do, or just hit the tanner and pass the day? Oh, you want to hit the Thieves Guild too. Okay. So what are you doing at the tanner first? We'll start there.
I'm going with Lucius because we're going to the Golden Circle after that. So, unless is everybody going to go to the Golden Circle, or is it just Lucius?
Well,
and
I want to find a somebody who can identify my sword.
And we need to go to the adventure guild to report everything like you wanted to, Crunch.
Well, you've been kind of our main liaison with that. Do you want to continue doing that, or?
Sure. So
Okay.
I'll meet you guys. I'll meet you guys after the tannery before you head to the Golden Circle.
I'll hand Merrick the writ that says that we've completed it that we got from the lady.
Okay. There's nothing to it, Merrick. You basically go in there, fill out some paperwork in triplicate, so you'll be ready to go when they're done here. You guys go to the tannery. What are you attempting to accomplish at the tannery?
I would like a sheath made for my glaive that has a ring on it
That has a ring on the
sheath.
for like a ring for your finger? Like what was you trying to do with it?
A ring that you could tie a string through.
Oh, like a peace string.
Yeah.
Okay, but easy enough. 2 silver.
2 silver. Okay.
So come back at the end of the day.
Can you get a pair of leather bracers? They have those.
Sure.
That doesn't count as armor. I just flavor.
Sure, 1 silver.
Okay.
All right, and guild house done, tanner done. Anything else? Are you guys going to?
I want to find somebody who can identify my sword.
Okay,
and
that's
tell-
an interesting one. How do you plan on going about it?
I'm gonna go find somebody who's really good with magic, for lack of a better word.
All right.
Good luck
Is
finding it.
there? Yeah. Check maybe one of the churches around.
There is a church of Pelor in town. A large.
Clerics have identify, right, at higher levels.
That's actually what I'm looking up now. I don't recall.
Let me see.
Actually, I'm pretty sure generic clerics do not
Nope,
have
they do not.
identify, but there are domains that do. There's a domain of magic and a domain of knowledge. Those
Okay.
ones do.
Yeah, but knowledge maybe you'll find it at a church like that, but I don't think magic you would.
No, you will not find a cleric of magic there.
I'll ask the group if any of them know a good spot.
Would I'll knowing that I'm in Church of Elmater, would any of them? Because there's an Elmater church here too, right?
It's not really a church, more of a compound, but
Would I know if any of them would have that ability?
Probably not. It's pretty unlikely.
Okay, so sorry.
Oh shit. I don't know, I'm out of ideas.
Go talk to the wealthy people. Maybe one of Sir Torald or that other guy. I forget his name.
I know. Yeah, that guy. No, hold off.
All right. So now you guys are going to.
So we were gonna meet Merrick at the Registry of Skill Companies. Was that it?
Sure, you guys are out front.
Okay. And Merrick has already taken care of that.
Yep, it was just a matter of turning in some stuff and filling out some paperwork.
I come out like rubbing my wrist gingerly, like you know, just kind of complaining and looking at the guys and saying, "You have no idea how much work that was." Sleeping.
I literally have no idea how much work that was. How much work was it?
Well, let's just say that your shin was nothing compared to what just happened to me.
Okay. Good to know.
You guys give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, you'll just have to suck it up, Buttercup. Just shake out my leg a little bit.
What I miss? What happened? What am I forgetting?
I don't know.
What?
No, with the gnome.
I was complaining that filling out the things in triplicate was worse than whatever happened to his shin.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of with him on that. 2 weeks ago, I had to
So,
go to the DMV 4 times in 1 week.
That's gross.
Yeah, I was losing my fucking mind.
The one thing I wanted to ask you guys is when we go in to talk to these guys, I'm gonna look around and make sure there's. Goose obviously isn't here, but I'm just gonna assume there's nobody around listening closely to us. Like, how do you guys feel about the possibility of doing something for the Golden Circle?
Oh, sorry about that.
Nope,
Okay,
we killed him.
Who'd you kill?
Nobody.
Okay. I think when
Yeah.
you guys asked Brennan, because he's the one that gave you the information.
He said
two
it's
blocks.
2 streets behind the Registry of Skilled Companies. Look for a guy who's pacing back and forth, not going anywhere, and has a yellow and gold peace string.
Perfect.
But before we go there, I want to ask everybody, like, how do you guys in general feel about the underbelly of the city? Like, if these guys had a task for us and were willing to pay us much like the Registry of Skilled Companies, would that be something you guys are interested in doing or not working with them at all?
It would depend for me on what the task was and what the motivation behind it was.
Sure, I wouldn't say I'd want to do anything particularly untoward, but sometimes they just have issues that are easy enough to solve. But just going in, I want to know, kind of what we're willing to deal with in terms of interacting, with their, hopefully with their leader. I'd like to talk to the guy right at the top, but we'll see.
I'm willing to tolerate them.
Yeah. All right. Well then,
I'm willing to stab him.
is Emin with us? Are we all together now?
All 4 of you. Yeah, Brennan is off equipping himself, so it's the 4 of you.
Sure. Brennan wasn't going to come with us anyway. He doesn't like the Golden Circle, but that's fine.
Sure.
All right. So we'll go.
All right. So one of the 4 of you make say investigation check
It should not be Emin.
with advantage because you know what you're looking for, and there's all of you there.
Would it be investigation or perception?
I'm gonna say investigation.
Okay. You-
Perfect.
That's pretty good. 18.
All right. You
Nailed it.
you scope the guy out easily enough. There's a vendor cart on one of the corners that's selling various spice jerkied meats, and you see the vendor, human male, and then another human male who does have a gold and red pea string around the short sword at his hip.
Well, Merrick, you seem like the one who is the most easy to get along with in this group. Would you like to lead the way?
For someone who dislikes people, I find that strange. But I kind of nod at
Well, you charmed the other guy with a basket of muffins.
I'll lean in and say,
should we go
"Give
back
me
to the
muffins."
bakery first?
I just kind of smile and say, I enjoyed my donuts.
All right.
So I proceed to walk up to the individual, and I look at him, and I kind of look up because I'm small, and I say, "You look kind of shifty."
They see you as you start to walk up, and they stop talking about whatever it is that they were talking about, and they both watch you as you walk up, and he doesn't respond. He just kind of looks at you.
Nice. I just sit there and smile, and I just stare at him, but like non-threateningly. I'm just smiling and just kind of looking at him.
The vendor finally speaks up. He goes, "Did you want something?"
Yeah, I said you looked a little shifty.
What did you say that there's two? There's the vendor, and then there's the guy with the peace string. So two
The
different
peace string guy.
peace string guy. Yeah, he's the one that didn't say anything. It's the vendor who asked you if you wanted something.
I say, sure. What do you got, buddy?
Well, I've got all kinds of spiced meats here. I've got beef and pork, and he starts rattling off with various, highly spiced, just a little bit of spicy with the pepper from Leon, and on and on, and
So
Are we
I look
talking
at the,
like Bubba from Forrest Gump?
kind of, yeah, but with spiced meats.
I hold up a hand, kind of stop him, and I look at the guy who I asked if he said mentioned that he was shifty, and I say, well, what are you having?
He said a conversation.
Yeah, I say interesting. With the vendor here, I assume you're getting ready to buy some of these what sound like pretty good meats. I'm wondering what you're looking to purchase.
Did I already have breakfast? I'm just chatting with my friend Barda here.
Barda. Oh, Barda, I'm Merrick. Pleased to meet you.
He kind of shakes your hands. He goes, "Well, did you decide on something, or?"
Well, I was just trying to figure out. I was hoping for a recommendation from. I didn't get your name.
He said, "I didn't give it."
Yeah, that's interesting. You do look shifty. And I kind of smile at him, and I ask Barda. I say, Barda, is there something that my shifty friend here usually purchases that you think I might enjoy?
He says, "Well, the spiced pork is probably my best seller.
Right, but what does my buddy buy here? Does he buy the pork?
He's probably tried it all."
Probably tried it all. And you don't have a recommendation?
He said, "The pork is good."
So you like the pork? Just waiting for a response.
He says, "The pork is good. You're exasperating, my little friend. Are you gonna buy something, or are you gonna piss off?"
Well, I have the feeling I might be pissing you off. And because I am pissing you off and you say the pork is good, let me buy you some pork. I'm going to have some pork. And then my three friends behind me are going to have some pork.
He says, "Okay, it's 1 silver per. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm gonna
5
have
silver.
to eat every chicken in this place.
So 5 silver?
Yep.
Sounds like a pretty fair and reasonable deal there. And so I sit there and I hand out the pork, make sure the guy gets the pork, and sit there and just kind of start eating it like awkwardly while I'm hanging out with him.
Okay. They kind of stare at you to see if you're gonna go away, and when it's clear you're not, they start talking about pretty mundane stuff. The king's assassination, speculating about the prince. Make a perception check.
All of us, or
Well, just him. He's the only one over there talking, to my knowledge.
Oh, we would have went over with him. We're
okay.
sitting
Well,
there
you guys
eating
only-
pork.
Well, doesn't matter.
And you got a 20, yeah.
You get the vibe that they're pretty clearly staying on mundane topics. That are intentionally doing that.
can I tell if they're talking in thieves' camp by any chance?
Yes, you can absolutely. I mean, you would if you start listening for it. They're not very comfortable with all you guys sitting there listening. Is what you're getting at.
So assuming that I'm getting that as a like everyone is, and I look up and I say, so what have you guys heard about things outside of town? I mean, the king is an interesting topic, but anything interesting that's happened outside of the city walls? Say further south.
Barda just kind of looks at you with this quizzical look, and thanks, honey. And the other guy, he goes, "I don't know. I don't really leave town. Are you done with your pork yet?"
So I did an insight when he said that,
Seems genuine.
and I said I'm not quite finished with my pork, but I'm wondering my friend who I've not caught your name yet, if you have friends that might leave town. in a circular fashion.
He just kind of turns away from you and starts talking to Barda again.
I'm gonna step forward and say to him, "Look, we have something. We know who you are. We have something to discuss with your boss."
He looks up and says, "Who's my boss?"
I will.
Who does number 2 work for?
Are there other people around, Goose, or is it just these two?
No, there's a light foot traffic on the street. Nobody seems to really be coming over to the street vendor. You don't know if it's because of the motley crew around it or just it's oddly timed. But there's some light foot traffic around. Nothing that seems out of the ordinary, though.
I'm going to say to him, I know. What am I going to say? I'm going to say, I know who your boss is. Don't worry about that. I need to talk to him. And I'm going to put some edge behind my voice, and I'm going to use thaumaturgy to make my eyes go pitch black when I say it, like at the end.
Thaumaturgy. Okay, go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage.
16?
And after that happens, I'm kind of finishing up my pork. I'm like, you should have. You could have done this friendly.
Just
And
so
I'm
you
gonna
guys-
add on there. We're just looking to parlay.
Just so you guys know, I'm not making up on his opposed check. Hold on. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Of course.
He goes, well, if you want to talk to my boss, George works at the stables. It's just down the road here.
I'll make an inside check to see if I can tell he's lying.
He rolled a 20.
Oh my god.
Feels bad.
Brian, you're getting stabbed the next time I see you.
Oh, I can't make this up.
But you rolled a 22, so.
Yeah, but
Look.
Twice in a row?
Twice in a row.
Oh man. Yeah,
That's
but
funny.
what's his total? It's plus 0, right?
What is your modified?
22.
22.
That's a 22.
He seems to be truthful.
Maybe this isn't the guy we're looking for.
No, it's the guy we're looking for.
We all just kind of. Go ahead.
As if you guys don't say anything to him for a few seconds, he'll just start walking away.
Okay. Let's see where he goes.
So I look at him and I say, well, can you take us to George? I did buy you a nice piece of pork.
He says, take yourself. It's the stables down at the end of the road. He's the one in the third stall.
I'm gonna.
I look at him and say, are you telling me you work for a horse's ass?
He doesn't respond. He just keeps walking.
I'm gonna nudge Amon and say, think you can tail him without getting seen?
who are you looking at?
You. I
Oh.
nudged you and said, hey, can you tail him? without
Sorry, I
getting-"
cut out right there. I missed that. Sure, why not?
Okay, so is it just Aemon is going to kind of hang out? What are the rest of you guys going to do?
I say we go look. I look at the guys and say, so should we go see about a horse's ass?
I think so. And as we're walking there, I'm gonna look over to Merrick. I'm gonna say, wouldn't have taken that approach. Your approaches are always impressive to me.
I just smile and say, sometimes you don't have muffins.
Well, sometimes you only got some pork.
So, where are you guys actually going? Are you trying to stay within range of seeing him, or are you going to leave him be?
All right, Amon.
Well, we're
Amon's
going to the stables. I think Emin is trying to follow him.
Okay. So, Eamon, make a stealth check to try to stay innocuous while sort of watching him. Okay. You're kind of cruising down the street. He's basically slowly ambling down the road, and then he crosses to the other side, and he doubles back the way he came, and he walks to the end of the block, and he stands there for a second. He seems to talk to somebody who passes by, and then he crosses the street and goes down another block. Make one more stealth check for me, please.
What the fuck?
Feels bad.
No, the worst part is I rolled a 9 and then a 4. It's pretty much don't like if I roll half, I'm good.
And then he kind of goes down an alleyway and reemerges on First Street that he was on. He kind of looks around, walks back across the street, and goes back to the beef cart. And when Barda is done selling something to a couple people that were there, the two of them start chatting again.
All right, I'm gonna try to see if I can get close enough where I can overhear what they're saying.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Yep, that's. I assumed you were gonna say stealth.
Ooh. Ooh.
Boom.
As
Whatever it
you were
is, I see it.
So you were kind of hanging out at the alley that that he went across to cut back to the First Street and then ran across the street. You were kind of, watching from that alley to see what he does, and you were just getting ready to try to get to kind of go across the street to listen in, and you glance over your shoulder and you see three figures approaching at you from the other end of the alley.
Okay, so I'm on one end of the alley.
Correct, and they're coming from the end you just came from. And it's not really a high foot traffic type alley.
Yeah.
So it seems a little odd.
But they can't. But they haven't seen him, or are they?
They seem to be walking directly at you.
All right, so I'm kind of on a alleyway, street corner type, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna turn right and attempt to blend into whatever crowd or whatnot is there.
Okay, well, it's light foot traffic, so there's not too much to blend into. We'll use your stealth check from before. You kind of start skirting away. Are you still trying to stay within sight range of this dude, or are you just trying to piss off?
Still trying to stay in sight range.
Okay.
I'm really trying to keep him in sight and hoping to hide to where they might pass me and I can continue.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
you kind of dart off to the right, and you're blending in with the crowd. Okay, and you see three humans, kind of similarly equipped. They don't look like this typical citizen you see walking down the street. They all have a dagger at their hip, and you notice no peace strings on these guys. And they didn't seem to have a beat on you until you tried to start working your way back toward the person at the cart, and then one of them points at you, and they start moving in your direction.
Heavy sigh.
Listen, I'm okay with going to 1-on-1 fight. Maybe a 2-on-1 fight. I'm not okay with a 4-on-1 fight.
What are all the rest of us doing at this point?
Well, it hasn't been too long, but I assume you've arrived at the stables. What do you want to do once you reach the stables?
Go to the third stall.
The third stall is empty. There's actually not a lot of horses in here.
Is there a stable boy or a stable master?
Yeah, you guys could find someone that works there easily enough.
And I say, where's George?
He kind of looks at you and says, "Who's George?"
I'm gonna immediately turn around and start heading back.
Yep, we're rushing back.
Okay. Eamon?
I'm gonna head towards the stables and hope to bring these three with me.
So to go to the stables, you will have to go past the cart.
That the guy's at?
Correct.
Fine.
Okay.
Can you do it stealthily?
Well, I mean, those three guys, they literally pointed at you and they're walking toward you.
Yeah. I gotta move. I'm not gonna be able to.
So are you trying to stealthily this, or are you just like hauling ass?
Are they moving quickly?
Um,
Or
I would say they're speed walking,
okay.
They're trying to keep it inconspicuous, but they're moving at you.
but they're basically.
Yeah. How far away are they?
Let's say across the street in half a block. So what does that put them at? Like
100 feet?
70-ish feet? Yeah, 80 feet, something like that.
Okay. I'm gonna try to stealthily move.
Now there is a second alley here. Let's do this. Let's do it this way, just so we. You've got a building here. Here's the alley that you were standing at. So the three guys were here. You initially went off this way.
Okay.
The cart with the vendor and the other guy is here. The stables is somewhere up over here. So
Okay.
you ran this way. You kind of lost them. You doubled back across the street, and you were trying to ninja your way back up here, and that's when they saw you. So they're coming this way now. There is another building here, and there is an alley here. So you could go down the alley, you could cut back the way you came, or you could try to work your way across here.
No. I am just gonna move straight for this point. I'm not even gonna try to do it stealthily.
So you're just gonna like book it.
I'm not gonna run, but I'm gonna try to maintain their pace and get to this point, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
So if they speed up, you'll speed up, etc.
Exactly.
Once
And then
you get,
as soon as I passed here, I'm going to start untying my peace string. Does that make sense?
you totally cut out. I didn't hear what you said. As soon
Oh,
as I get
sorry.
here-
As soon as I get to here, like past the cart, and the other dude can't see me, I'm just gonna slowly like use my left hand or my right hand, reach across and just one-handedly untie my peace string.
Okay. So you're going past the cart though. Like you're
Yep.
working your way.
Don't
up
even
this
care.
The guys in the cart just kind of look at you, kind of confusedly. Make a perception check.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Don't see shit.
The three guys do kind of shuffle after you, but once you get past this building here, like back in here, they stop. So they're like standing right here, and once you get past this building, they stop pursuing you.
All right.
Alright, so
I'm assuming there's a street. Can I draw a line on here? How do I
Yes, you
draw a
can.
line?
It's a
Yeah.
it's a street. So there's
So I'm gonna wait right here on this corner then. Just kind of stare at them,
okay. If you stop, they start coming out. They start walking towards you again.
and then I'll turn and start walking.
Alright.
I'm basically trying to lead them to the
us.
stables.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll stop at about here.
Okay.
And if we're going to continue this picture forward, at the end of this building, so on the opposite corner, the
Yep.
four of you meet up.
Okay. As soon as they stop, I stop and turn around and just stare at them.
Okay. Well, the four of you are staring at the three of them now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to keep walking forward.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll. As we start walking forward with all four of us, I'll explain. These three started following me while I was following him.
Okay.
And I lead with well met.
To addressing these three guys.
Yep.
Okay. They just kind of look at you. They're not quite really sure what to say.
I said, do you know where George is?
They say, who's George? The one who kind of steps forward as the leader.
And I said, I don't know. I was told to find George.
So, well, I don't know who George is, but your friend here is poking his nose in the wrong places. I'd suggest you guys bugger off.
I say, I'm sorry, it's a big nose.
And I say I kind of look at him and I say the wrong places. Where would that be?
He looks at you and says, "Hang out and find out."
And I say, do you work with the gentleman down here, my shifty fellow down here by the meat cart?
The three of them turn around and start walking the other direction.
I'll follow.
Yep, I'm continuing towards them.
Okay. They
So-
stop basically walk this way. If you guys stop following them, just let me know. They
Okay.
go down here. They walk past the cart. Make a perception check, everybody.
I'd like to stop at the cart.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
27, natural 20. Yeah.
Terrible.
Both those guys at the cart are watching this very, very intently,
Sure.
and have gotten a little bit of traction from the kind of foot traffic that's around because it's very weird.
I'm gonna walk straight up to the guy that lied to us.
So, Merrick is, sorry, yeah, Merrick is stopping here. Is everybody stopping there?
Where is here?
With the
He said
cart.
he's stopping at the cart, so I assume right here.
Yeah.
Is everyone stopping there?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Foot
these two
traffic's-
guys, they stop at this corner. They go down the street and then they disappear into this alley.
I'm gonna say, we just have something we'd like to discuss with your boss
Or you.
or you.
He says, "Well, did you find him?"
Found an empty stall.
He must be
No
out for a
George.
ride.
What's that?
He said he must be out for a ride then.
I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
All right.
So he needs to make a Wisdom save if he wants to resist it.
Okay. What's the DC?
The DC, I believe, is what is it? 15?
It's 14 or 15 for you, right? Your wisdom is +4, your proficiency is +2, and it's from 8, so it would be 14.
14, yeah.
Do you know if he passes it or fails it per the spell?
I do.
Does it say how does it describe that? Like, does it say you just know if they pass it?
Yeah, I know if they pass the save.
Okay, dude.
So did he
No,
pass?
how does the spell describe when you know? Does it just say you are aware if they?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one who never gave a name did pass it, and the vendor failed it.
So I'm gonna turn to the vendor and say, is he telling the truth?
He says, "What about George being on a ride?"
About George being your boss and being his boss and working at the stables.
So, well, I never said George was my boss.
No, I'm not talking about what you said. I'm talking about what he said.
He says, "I'm a self-employed man. This is my business."
You're not answering my question.
He says, "That's true."
He doesn't have to answer your question. I mean, I say we just follow the three shady guys. They're probably leading us where we want to go.
Or to a trap.
Either way, we're trying to.
One where barbarians get their shoes hacked up.
If we follow the other three, will they lead us to a trap?
Are you asking that?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm asking that.
Okay.
To the vendor?
Uh-huh.
He says, "Which other three are you asking about?"
So I look and I say, guys, I'm thinking there's a lot of people here that are all on the same team.
Crunch is getting kind of impatient with these proceedings. I'm gonna lean very close to the guy with the peace string. I'm gonna say, "Look, we're just looking to parlay with the head of the Golden Circle. We were told to come talk to you. Can you help us or not?"
He kind of looks at you for a moment. Says, "Maybe I'll send him your way."
I said, "Okay, well, we'll be waiting right down here, and I'm gonna lead everyone down to this alley."
Okay.
Like, we'll just go and wait.
Yep, I'll follow.
All right.
I'll give a long hard glare at the guy, but I'll follow.
Well, you guys leave. He stays at the cart chatting, and after a couple hours, he walks down the road this way. And then, as it gets towards the end of the afternoon, Barda starts pushing his cart away. Nothing seems to be happening other than regular foot traffic.
I want to do a perception check. Like, does that traffic? Okay, I was just trying to figure out if the traffic seems normal. Like, am I seeing the same people passing by?
Yeah. Can I do the same?
Sure.
15.
It seems pretty normal. The street isn't like a major street. It's kind of maybe a medium-sized street, just off. So the registry is on the main street, so this is just slightly removed from it. So there's really not a whole lot of foot traffic here. Some, but it doesn't. Nothing seems weird ever since you guys stopped playing Ring Around the Rosie in the middle of the street.
How long do you guys think we should wait for these guys?
I'm
I bet-
hungry.
What time is it?
You guys did a couple things in the morning. Let's say you got there around noon. So
Like 3 in the afternoon?
sure, I was gonna say 2, but 2, 3, yeah.
Okay. I'll say let's give it another hour.
All right.
To the party. We'll see if everyone else agrees with that.
Sure.
Nothing seems to happen in another hour.
Maybe they're a nightly operation.
So we can, because we're facing the alleyway that everyone's come out of, right? That's where the three guys came out of.
Yeah, you're looking. So you are across the street from that alleyway, and you can see it easily enough.
And we haven't seen any activity down there.
Nope.
Are there any doors or anything down that alley?
Well, none of you have been down there. Jeremy does not recall seeing any doors down there. No.
Oh, we could just go look.
Let's take a look.
Okay. So you hustle across the street. The building that would be on the left as you went across does have some kind of a side door. The one on
I'm
the
also,
right-
while we're walking down there, I'm looking on the rooftops. I'm looking for any signs of a possible trap or, you know what I mean, whatnot.
make a perception check.
Nope.
So both of them are two-story buildings. They're both kind of the typical construction. They're pretty nondescript. The building that would be on your right when you cross the street did have a front door. It didn't have any kind of sign or anything on it. There's no side door on it. The one on the left does have a side door on it. And sorry about that. And it seemed to be some kind of storage warehouse of some sort. It said on the front.
Storage warehouse.
So the building on so you guys cross the street right into the alley. So there's the building on the right, the building on the left. The building on the right, two-story building. There is a front door, no signs, no side door. The building on the left is a two-story building. There was a sign on the front door. You guys didn't really pay too much attention, but it was some kind of storage. It identified itself on the sign. You could go look if you wanted. There was a front door and a side door on the building on the left.
Let's go. I go ahead and go around the front and say, Crench, why don't we go take a reading lesson from the front door here?
All right.
All right. So,
So I sound out whatever the word is for Crench.
it's a Ludarem Brewery storage housing.
And I do I guess it probably
Say that again.
Ludarem Brewing Storage Housing.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what I would roll, but I'm kind of looking at that and like trying to
Like, is it an anagram or something?
yeah. So I don't know what I would roll for
An intelligence check.
intelligence.
Roll for puzzle.
Let's see here. I want to
Can
roll
I-
a saving
Can
throw.
can I do the same?
Sure. You guys can all go up front.
How do I
Straight
roll?
intelligence?
Just a straight intelligence check.
So just roll 1d20, right?
And add your intelligence modifier, whatever it is.
10.
Nope.
11.
Nothing
Lol.
stands out about the sign.
Crunch,
Just-
Crunch rolled a crit. What'd you roll? Crunch?
16.
16.
It looks like a pretty generic sign.
The guy that can't read. Got it.
Hey, I sounded it out for you.
Yeah.
Somebody other than the guy who has had terrible luck rolling, roll for the gnome.
I'm back, dude.
Oh,
Yes,
you are
he
back.
rolled-
Never
he
mind.
rolled,
My
yeah.
bad. I didn't realize you were back. My bad.
Well, I guess we either have to continue waiting here to see if anybody comes and finds us, or we can start knocking on doors, which doesn't seem very smart.
Well, I proceed to I knock on the door of the Lutheran building.
Okay. No response on the first knock.
And does it appear like an open door, or like is there windows or anything?
No, there's no windows of any sort in either one of these buildings, actually.
So I'm politely knocking. Like I'm not trying to be annoying or anything. I just kind of give another knock on
Did you
the door.
knock more than once or just once?
I knock again.
Okay.
Like a double knock, like a.
After a few minutes on the second knock,
You deciphered their secret code already.
a portly, balding gentleman, and just kind of not quite peasant's clothes, but kind of a middle merchant type clothes, a little bit worn, opens the door and he looks down, kind of slightly taken aback by a gnome knocking on his front door. So what?
And I kind of smile and look up at him and say, "My friend, I realize that this is a storage house for an ale for a brewery. What I don't know is where I would be able to get your fine elixir."
He kind of stares at you. Are you serious? Just go to any pub.
Any pub has Luterim?
Of course.
I did not know. That is shocking to me. I mean, I am new in town, but no one has offered me Luterim. And when I saw your sign, I was taken aback that I hadn't heard of Luterim for such a large storage space.
Make a deception check. He says, well, says just said the closest tavern to here is the Calm Hill. Head up to the end of the block, hang a right, 3 streets down. It's on your right hand side. Small place, good food.
The Calm
Okay.
Hill.
The Calm Hill. Ask for Arthur. He's the owner.
I'll ask for Arthur at the Calm Hill. Is there any particular brew that I should get that you guys especially produce?
So we only do one because we do it right. And then he kind of glances over to the left and sees the little motley crew over there. Looks back at you. Says, well, have a good night. And closes the door. And then you hear it lock.
Cool.
Can I do an insight check on the glance he gives us to see what his mood behind it is?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 19.
Yeah, you got the vibe he smells trouble.
So I turn and look at the guys and say that we should head over to the Calm Hill and ask for Arthur.
Might as well.
I could eat.
Why not?
So we'll say you guys monkeyed around in that alley for half an hour or so. So 4:30, 15 minutes walk over there. It's just before 5 when you arrive at the Calm Hill. It's a small place, like you mentioned. Very pretty nice though. They're serving a pretty rich stew. A little bit skimpy on the meat this evening because meat's a little bit hard to come by, but otherwise pretty good flavor. And despite the portly gentleman's assurances that they do it right, Luterim is not a particularly good ale, apparently.
Still trying to find an ale that's as good as my hometown. I swear, if I could find anyone.
So I ask if Arthur's around.
Yeah, the guy who's there.
Okay.
He's middle-aged, short blonde hair, brown eyes, has the hands of a working man. Got a vest and an open white shirt, traveler's pants and boots. He says, "That's me. I'm the owner." There's also a bard who's playing some reasonably passable performances there, and it's really only you and another couple in there, so it's either a slow night or not too much room in there either.
So I look at Arthur and I say, Arthur, do you know George?
He gives you a quizzical look. I don't know any George.
And I ask him about Ludorim. I said, I was told that it's one of the best. My taste must be deceiving me. I've been told it's one of the best beers in the city.
He kind of chuckles to himself. He goes, "Well, of course they would tell you that. It's one of the most affordable brews in the city. I'll tell you that."
So Arthur, what would you drink?
He goes, "That's the best question you've asked." He walks back behind the counter, and he comes back with 4 big mugs with a nice head at the top, and he says, he goes, "This is Keen Seeker. This is the good stuff."
King Seeker?
Keen, Keen, Keen
Ah.
Seeker.
I'm gonna make a. I want to tell if he's lying to us.
Make a perception check.
Oh, I believe him so much.
Seems to be truthful.
So as I'm drinking the new ale, how does this compare to the fine ale that was made back at the Andre's Keep?
This is pretty good stuff. Arthur appears to know what he's talking about, and when he asked for a recommendation, he did not disappoint.
All right.
So I proceed to ask Arthur about kind of describe to Arthur our events of the day.
How are you describing them?
You're cutting out, guys.
How are you describing them? What exactly are you saying to him?
I'm just saying, we went down to the alley, or went down to the area behind the registry of companies, and that we were trying to make contact with some people that worked back there, but the whole alley seemed kind of odd, and people were kind of shifty down in that area.
When you start mentioning that alley, he does get a little bit closed up, and he goes, kind of looks around, and he gets his voices very little. "You guys look like the type that can handle yourselves, but I'd be very careful in that alleyway." And then he walks away.
Yeah, and I did an insight there.
He seems on the up and up.
Okay.
So apparently we're not the only ones who know they operate out of here. We just haven't found a way to allow them to, or for them to allow us an audience, I guess.
Hey, when you guys finish your meal and have a couple of good Keen Seeker ales, you guys came in, what did we say, just before 5, so let's say you spend, an hour and a half in there, 6:37-ish, enjoying some good music.
So I since the music has gotten good, I proceed to go over to the bard and tip the bard 10 copper pieces.
He tips his hat to you and then responds by telling the epic poem of Diana Darkdraft and all of the hearts she broke throughout the many, many alleyways of the town of Fione. And it's an epic tale of seduction and heartbreak. And it's a pretty good performance. You can tell he probably saves it for those who give him a nice tip.
And as he's doing this, I'm trying to see if he's trying to tell me anything by the fact that he's mentioning alleyways. Am I reading anything into that?
No, you're definitely not reading anything into it.
Okay.
The bard was the key the whole time.
It's full of bad puns and terrible genitalia innuendo, but it's also pretty clever and very comical.
And as a distrustful but fun-loving gnome, I laugh along and I buy the bard a Keen Seeker.
All right.
So I'm going to go up to the bartender because I haven't ordered yet. The one that Merrick was talking to.
Yeah, that's
Arthur.
he's kind of the only one in there. That's Arthur. He's the
Okay.
only one.
And I'm going to. How much is one of the brews?
I have that all that stuff is just included in your monthly.
But how much is one?
I don't know. What is a two copper, 3 copper, something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna put down. Not like kind of nonchalantly, but also not like super overtly. 5 silver pieces and slide them over to him and say, "I'll have a king seeker or a keen seeker as well," and kind of a bit of a hushed tone, but trying not to appear conspicuous. Ask him, "Do you know if we wanted to make contact with the people who run that alley, how we might do it?"
Make a persuasion check.
Ha! Natural 20.
Nice.
He quickly swipes the silver, and he goes, kind of looks around, and once again, it's pretty dead in there. There's music. It's just basically the bard, a couple of you guys, and him. He says, "Well, they don't. I'm pretty sure if they want to talk to you, they'll find you. But they're a pretty dangerous lot. I'd be careful. As long as you're in the city walls, they won't do anything. Be very careful if you step out of them."
We're not trying to antagonize them. We're just trying to come to an
Yeah, we are.
understanding. And we would like to, if at all possible, meet with them so that we may come to said understanding.
He says, "That's all I know. I steer clear of that lot."
You don't know anyone we could talk to?
No, I just run my business and stay out of that. But they do have a reputation.
Okay, thank you.
This was the Calm Hill, right?
The Calm Hill Tavern.
So the bard is, I'm assuming, finished singing his song.
Mhm.
I look at the group and say, this has been less than productive today. Although we did get a good tale.
Well, not every day has to be go, go, go. Kind of enjoyed the relaxing a little bit. Anyway, do you guys want to try and go back there and see if anyone is there, or
We can
anyone
pass
have it?
back by it on the way to our. I'm assuming we're at a hotel, so.
Well, no, the place you're at now is only a tavern. It is not a hotel.
Well, no, I'm assuming we're going.
Oh
Back
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
Yeah, we'll go back to the Fool in the Cup. But, yeah.
Okay.
Fool in the cup. Fool in
You
the
guys,
cup.
you guys turning in for the night then?
Well, we're passing by the alley on the way back.
Yep.
Okay. Make a perception check, everyone. Once again, foot traffic is pretty light, but there is one guy kind of sitting. He's like sitting, leaning against not the building that was the brewing storage, but the one right next to it. And he's kind of sitting there. He looks like he's a beggar, but it would be the first and only beggar that you've seen in the inner city since you've been here. It's grossly out of place, and he definitely seems very aware of his surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we'll take a 5.
Okay.
Guys, I think it's George.
Go ask him. Are you George? I'm looking for George.
On the hunt of George.
We're looking for George.
I'm gonna take us back in now that we have Merrick back. Alright, so where were we? We found George, right?
Ish.
So you guys come out, get to the corner, across the street, and you see the Quody Fingers beggar sitting, leaning up against the building opposite the brewing storage building.
So
So you're across the street now. You haven't approached or anything. You just kind of saw him when you got to them.
I'm gonna kind of nudge Merrick and go, that guy looks a little bit out of place, doesn't he?
I look at him and I said, I think he might be George.
You got any donuts? Go take him a donut.
Sadly, no donuts. I do have some leftover pork though, so I head over to the beggar, and
Just you
I
or
say,
everyone?
What's that?
Yeah, I
Just you
think
or everyone?
I'll go with him.
I'll stay about 10 feet back.
I'm gonna hang back farther than that.
Okay.
And I'm looking around as they're talking, looking for people.
So, Lucius, make a perception check at disadvantage because you're slightly farther away. Everybody else make a perception check as well.
That's a 14 from me.
Merrick
16.
and Eamon, as you guys are crossing the street, you see him moving his fingers quickly, and he seems to be talking to himself.
So he's casting a spell.
That's what it looks like.
So I stop, kind of, just where he can see me, and I say, George, would you like some pork? You look like you might be hungry.
There does not seem to be. So you're standing in the middle of the street, basically.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I've noticed that he's casting a spell, and so I'm kind of like doing the, no harm, hands up, like, hey, would you like some pork?
Okay, he finishes casting. There's no obvious effect, but he also doesn't respond.
I will cast Detect Magic. Not as a ritual.
Just use it. It's 30 feet range, right?
Yeah, but that's about hard. I'm within that.
That should be about right. Yeah, I was kind of thinking if you're directly across the street from him, you're probably 30 feet away. Nothing that you can see is radiating magic.
So this guy's just like sitting there, like looking like a beggar still.
Now he's just sitting there looking like a beggar. So he's got his head down, but you do get the impression that he's pretty aware of what's going on around him. So the three of you guys are stopped in the middle of the street, and Lucius is at the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear him cough a little bit.
So I say, would you like some help with that cough, George?
There is no response.
I'm gonna go up and offer him a few copper.
Okay.
How much copper do I even have? Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
As you lean down to put the copper in, he says, "The door to my left. Only one of you."
How you feeling, Shins?
Only Crench heard that because he's the only one that went up
I
and
know.
threw down the copper.
I know.
Yeah, it would have been 4 copper, and I'm gonna turn around to everyone. I'm gonna hold up just the one finger, and I'm gonna walk on down the hallway.
Yeah, well, it's a door. It's the front door of that
Oh,
side
I'll
of
just
the
go right
building.
into the door
Yeah,
then.
he's pointing to the door.
Okay.
Okay, you
So Okay, yeah.
all right. You open the door, and it opens into a long hallway that's basically one person wide, so it's a tight fit for you. And the hallway is about 10 feet long, and the only exit is the door from which you came in and the door at the end of the hallway. The door at the end of the hallway has a little slit in it about eye level, and there's a hook to the right of that door with a hood on it.
So I kind of as Amon's so he's disappeared into this building now. Is the door closed or?
Crunch, yeah,
I'm sorry, French.
So he's inside. The door's closed.
So I kind of slide back to Amon and say, he didn't take any muffins.
I'll lean back and be like, rookie.
All right, I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, I should have taken some good berries. I'm gonna go down to the end of the hallway and knock on the door gently.
The, the thing slides open. You see a pair of eyes look out. He goes, "Put on the hood," and then he closes the door, the slide again.
Okay, and I will.
Whatever you do, don't put on the hood.
After a few seconds, you hear the slat open again, and then close. The door opens. You feel each arm, someone like grabbing, not like physically, but grabbing your arm to lead you.
Yeah, they're guiding me. Yeah, and I'm not resisting.
Right. They hear the door shut behind you. You can hear the the sound of a handful of voices. You hear. Make a perception check.
All right. In
You hear
times of need, my perception always fails me.
You hear what just kind of some noises, people laughing, talking, and other various ambient sounds that you can't quite put your finger on. After a few seconds, maybe 20 seconds or so, you stop. You hear a door open. You're given not a gentle shove, but not quite like they're throwing you in a dungeon shove either. Nudge forward, and then you hear a door shut behind you. And after a few seconds, you hear a voice that says, "You can take that off now."
Okay, and I will.
It's a fairly small room. Looks like an office of some sort. Maybe 15 feet by 12 feet or so. There's a desk with a human female. She looks to be in her mid-30s, a simple brown hair tied behind her, and two chairs in front of her desk. There's miscellaneous papers and writing utensils on the desk. There's a shelf to her left with a number of books and parchments. And then on the opposite side of the bookshelf, there is a chair with a half elf male. He's kind of leaning back. He's like got the chair leaned back, so it's just on like the back two pegs, you know?
Yeah.
And he's got a what are the string instruments called? I'm forgetting. Is it a lute?
Lute?
A lute or a lyre?
Yeah, sure, either one. A lute, we'll say. And he's kind of monkeying with it. He's not really playing it, just kind of maybe playing a chord or a strum here or there.
Is this the same bard? Did you
It
say?
is not. It's not the same bard.
If only.
It's not the same bard. It would be difficult for a half-elf bard rogue to play in a public place in this town.
Okay.
And the person behind the desk gestures to one of the seats in front of her desk.
And I sit down in the one she gestured to, or he gestured to.
She.
Okay.
She. The one behind the desk is a she, and the half-elf is a guy.
Okay.
She said, "Well, I was going to see you tonight, but I supposed you saved me a walk across town. You're persistent and annoying." She seems genuinely irritated.
Yeah, sorry about that. We were led to believe it might be a little bit easier to get in contact with you. That was not handled the way we would have liked.
She says, "Well, you're here. You're talking to me. What do you want?"
Well, I don't know how much information you've gotten so far about us and our organization. We're rather new.
She kind of holds her hand up. She goes, I don't know what is wrong with me. One moment. And you hear her pull a drawer from the desk, and she takes out a small box about the size of maybe like size of a brick is about the right size. And she sets it down, and she opens it. And as the box open, you see inside about the size of a golf ball, a small kind of grayish stone, and it starts glowing purple as soon as the box opens. And as soon as the stone starts glowing purple, she has a necklace with a crystal on it, and the crystal starts glowing a matching purple color. And she says, "I need you to pick that up and hold that. This is my negotiation stone. It makes sure that I know that you're being truthful."
Very well, and I'll pick it up. No hesitation at all.
Doesn't seem. It seems like it would put off some kind of energy, but it just kind of feels like a rock. It's slightly off-putting.
Okay.
She said, "Okay, carry on."
Very well. We're part of a new organization that has recently come into being here in the city. We're calling ourselves the Tradition of Rejects. And I give just a small pause to see if she has any reaction to the name.
Make a perception check.
There we go. That'll be a 23.
Okay, she doesn't seem to have a reaction.
Okay. Most people are more amused by our name. That's too bad. Anyway, we came together under some interesting circumstances, but that's not really what's important. What is important is in our travels and early in our process of getting established, we had come across some interesting information about a group smaller than yours, but a small group that had taken up residence in a house south of Latour, and we had heard that they were a rival guild house of yours.
And she says, "Go on."
Well, we had heard they had disappeared under mysterious circumstances, so we went to investigate, and basically we're assigned to go see if there was anything left or figure out what was going on. We found it abandoned, and we really thought that that place might be an interesting place for us to possibly set up shop. But we figured before we really went forward with any big plans to do that, we should investigate what happened to this previous group. And we had come across the name of the leader, Dog, and the name, and just in general some of the group. But we never found their whereabouts. The only thing we had found out was intel that they had believed that they had crossed your path negatively, and then were never heard from again. So we figured that if we were going to investigate what was going on and who might still pose any kind of threat to anyone who took up this building, we should come try to find you.
She said, "Well, I don't know any Dog, and I don't know what happened to these people you're speaking of. But what kind of make a perception check if you choose? But what kind of business are you taking up to where you think it would be crossing me?"
Well, it's not so much that we feel like it would be crossing you per se. We're actually just interested in trying to utilize some of the resources there to try to better, in particular, the situation outside the walls of the city in the shanty town is kind of where we're going to try to end up putting a lot of those resources and things we gain from, or at least that's my intention. We'll see where everything goes with the group of people that we install there. We're certainly not planning on stepping on your toes, but we figured at least it would be worth coming here and having a conversation with you to see if you held any issue with that plan or had any affection or will towards this structure rather than just the people that were in it.
She kind of ponders you for a minute. She says, "Well, I don't really have any interest in Latour. However, I do consider that structure to be mine. I own it, so if you'd like to rent it from me, I would have no problem with that. However, I am very interested in anything you would be doing in the shanty town. So what exactly do you plan on doing in the shanty town?"
Well, for right now, we're just hoping to send some of the resources back to better people, the people that are, the conditions, the living conditions there, the supply of food. I don't know exactly whether or not you have anyone that you care about that's in the shanty town. I imagine that most people in the city are affected by it on some level, but I don't know about you, but when I rode through it the first time, it was devastating to me. My goal was to get things done there, and I'm glad I came. If that is indeed your property, or at the very least, if you feel you have a claim to it, I'm more than willing to negotiate. But I'm definitely not interested in setting up people there, hardworking people that are trying to do good, and then dooming them by having them be somewhere that you would rather them not be.
As well, yes, it's make a perception check here too. Be like, yes, the shanty town is horrible. If you want to, she does not give a shit about what's happening in the shanty town.
Okay.
If you would like to give those people the opportunity to earn more money and more food, that by all means. I don't have any designs for that house. However, I have come into possession of it, so I do consider it mine.
So,
You're probably thinking the same thing I am. It's either Merrick or Lucius.
So do I believe her when she says it's hers, or do I think that she's just
Make a perception check.
God damn it! Every other one, it's literally 19s and 3s.
It's literally every
all
other
the
one.
way
Yeah.
down.
this is
3,
where I'm.
19, 3, 19, 3. Yeah, you get the vibe that she feels that it's hers.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't really be interested in renting, to be honest with you. I'd be more interested in purchasing, and because we really would prefer to be able to operate there without any sort of anything looming over our heads. In lieu of gold, how do you feel about trade for hire?
Make a perception check.
Perception or like persuasion?
No, perception.
Oh gosh.
There you go. When you say this, for just a second, you can see that you totally blindsided her with that. She hadn't even really considered it, and she glances briefly over at her counterpart, who's still kind of strumming on his lute, who has no reaction whatsoever. And she glances back at you, and she says,
Do I get the sense that she's in charge, or do I think the lute player might be actually the one who's in charge of all this?
It's hard to say. I mean,
Come on, a
that's
natural
really,
20, I don't get anything?
that's really the first time you've seen her look at him. Otherwise, she seems to be calling the shots. He doesn't even seem to be paying that much attention. I mean, obviously he can hear you guys talking, but
Sure.
he has had basically no reaction, no nothing other than kind of sitting there.
Alright.
She says, "Well, I'm not really interested in selling the property, but I will take a favor in lieu of rent."
I'm listening.
She says, "That's it. That's the deal. You will owe me a favor."
Okay. You should know
Sorry,
that
that coming on a little loud.
you should know one thing is that I wouldn't generally consider myself to have any particular sort of direct affiliations to anyone within the city, other than to the group that we've started. But I do consider myself, if nothing else, an orc that prizes honor. I will be willing to help you if the need should arise and you should need to call upon the favor, but not if it's something that goes against what I feel is my set of values and honor. Is that going to be a problem for you?
She smirks to herself. You see her lean forward slightly. Make a perception check.
Okay. Swing the pendulum back the other way. Oh, that was about even. 15.
You hear a click. It looks like she pressed something under the desk, and then she says, "Well, Crench, it's your honor is the only reason that I'll even make this." And the door opens briefly, and a fairly nondescript man walks in, and she says, She looks at the guy as he walks in and says, Jorval, go ahead and make up a brief contract here for our new friend Crench. He's going to owe us a favor. And he bows his head slightly, turns, walks out of the room. And she says, Crench, I won't ask you to do anything you're not comfortable doing, and you will honor my favor. And she says, I am Rhea. And then she sits there.
Well, I would introduce myself as Crench, but you seem to have already known my name before I came in this room.
She says, well, there aren't a lot of large half-orcs strolling around Hashtag. And even fewer annoying half-orcs strolling around Hastel.
That's fair. That's fair.
After a couple minutes, he comes in. He rolls down a scroll with a bunch of writing on it, and she says, "Get out your token." And she pulls out a drawer, gets some sealing wax, puts it over a candle, heats it up. Go ahead and make your mark here on this contract.
I press my seal into it.
She extends her hand. She says, I'll find you when I need you. I will consider my interest in the house extinguished.
Fair deal. I'll reach out and shake her hand.
Says, okay. Jorville here will show you out. And he kind of, you see him look at her and raise an eyebrow, and she kind of like waves her hand like, no, it's not necessary. He opens the door, and as he leads you out, there's a large common room. There's a half dozen people in there. Mixture of men and women, all human though. They're kind of drinking and playing some kind of card game. A couple of them look a little too into it. He quickly shuffles you just about 10 feet away, opens a door, nudges you out. It's the door you came in. Right there on the hook is the hood. He closes the door behind you, and you hear it lock.
Put back the hook and head on out. Or put back the hood,
After about 15 minutes, you guys see Crench walk back out the front door.
Kind of gesture back towards the fool in the cup and start walking, and hope everyone will join me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone joins him?
Yep.
All right.
Well, do you guys want the good news or the bad news?
Yes.
Good news.
Well, the good news is we can consider the golden... Well, yeah, I'm not going to say that in the middle of the street. We can consider their interest in...
That was a learning lesson for Crench.
What?
With watching what he's saying in the middle of the street.
Well, we're going to... We can consider their interest in the guild house no more.
What did it cost us?
I don't know yet. They want us to do them a favor at some point.
And I look at him and
I
say,
drop my head onto the desk and just loudly sigh.
However, I did stipulate to them that I wasn't willing to do anything that would compromise my honor, and she agreed to that.
I look at him and say, you're a barbarian. I'm sure her interpretation of your honor isn't very high.
I also said, did you bargain for us or for yourself?
Myself, if need be. That's up to you guys.
So I look at him and I say, did you mention Lord Hughes while you were in there?
No.
And I kind of like raise an eyebrow, like questioningly, like, we have this worked out with Lord Hughes. Is there a reason you didn't mention him?
I don't feel like he would have appreciated me invoking his name.
Maybe, but didn't he arrange for us to get the deed to the building? So now you've gone through and given yourself to do one task.
Just because we believe we own the house, and we own the house on paper, doesn't mean that we can stop these kinds of people from coming and enacting their will. We needed to have a reason to believe that they were not going to come and slaughter the same group of the people in the same place that another large group of people, probably even more adept than the people we're leaving there, were going to be in that house. Unless you all were planning on just leaving it to chance.
So I kind of put a calming hand on maybe his thigh is about as high as I can reach.
It's probably about as high. Yeah,
You put a calming hand on my gashed calf. Okay. Are you gonna heal that now or what?
Is he still limping around with that thing?
No.
And I say, Crunch, we understand. We're just trying to keep you and us safe. And you're trying to do what you think is the right thing. We understand. But you have to understand our trepidation when you make deals, even under the circumstances you were put under.
Fair enough.
Did you guys retire to the Fool in the Cup?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that's where we're having this discussion at largely.
All right.
Yeah.
So, barring anything else, you guys turn in for the evening.
Yes.
Okay. That brings us to Sunday morning. The night passes uneventfully.
So did anything happen when Merrick reported the serial killer situation to the?
They took it on file and took it to the back, and that you don't know what happened to it after that.
Okay. That's too bad. I thought there might be a reward in it for us for something like that.
Well, I mean, you guys did get paid 480 gold.
Well, sure, but it's kind of
Yeah,
like
those-
if you go out for a kidnapping ring and then uncover a mass murdering thing that you completely took care of. It's kind of like going out to fish and then catching a boar. You know, you expect
Sure.
a little bit more credit and prize for that. But that's all right. Whatever.
All right. So, what's the plan for Sunday?
Lucius is going to head towards what is it, Latour?
Mhm.
To get ready to perform his ritual.
What about the rest of you?
I'm going with Lucius.
Are the bodies and all that are out there? Is that being handled for us? Like, do we
There are
know?
bodies.
What?
Well, there were some. There were
There were
some.
like 4 bodies.
But I didn't think we were bringing the bodies back. I thought we were just going to do a ritual.
I thought she wanted the body brought back. But I was not there for that conversation. I was asking out of character.
I told her that we couldn't recover them, but told them where they were if they wanted to recover them.
Okay, so she should be handling that then. More or less.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, is everyone going back? Do you guys have any more business in Hastow?
How's Brennan doing?
Oh yeah, he would have met up with you guys that night. He would have been eating in the tavern when you arrived. Where the hell have you guys been?
You don't even want to know. Literally.
But he is well equipped now. He has his dagger and a short sword, a light crossbow, the appropriate ammunition, and a fine pair of studded leather.
We've been doing training days every day, by the way, with him, but I would have asked Emin if he'd be willing to join us, because I realize my training can only go so far if he's trying to train in the ways of being a rogue like you. Jeremy?
Sorry, it broke out. I didn't hear you.
Oh, well, I was saying that I'd been training with Brennan, but I would have asked you to join us because I can only do so much in terms of training him how to be a rogue.
Emin kind of loudly sighs and kind of kicks the dirt and begrudgingly agrees.
And then he
Okay.
says, "Lesson 1: untie the log."
Nice. So, have I gotten a sense of where he is in comparison to us? Or out of character, have I gotten... What level is he? He's level 2?
He's second level.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I think you might be able to join us in battle, but stay back and tend towards using that bow rather than trying to come in and get in the thick of things. You know what I mean?
And he says, "Yeah, absolutely."
All right.
So is everybody riding back to Latour on Sunday then?
I believe so, yes.
Yep. All of us, Brennan, everybody.
Anything in particular you want to do on Sunday? We'll assume you guys ride back. You prepare for the services.
Grab
train
all of
with-
our gear on the way out of
grab your
town.
gear, train with Brennan. He starts doing a little target practice in the back of the guild house. When you get back, though, Durrier does ask if you guys have had time to consider their idea to renovate the guild house.
And so I'm guessing Lucius is going to handle this conversation.
Yep.
Basically,
just-
are you gonna give
I'll
him
just
some?
hand him the bag of gold and go, here.
All right. His kind of eyes get big. He goes, "All right, we'll get started on it." Now off he goes.
And I'm going to tell him before he goes, I can't speak for these four. Obviously, once you guys get things running, you said it was going to be 1,000 gold per 3 months.
That was their projection of the income. Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do for my portion of that, I can't speak for them, but I want you to put that into investing whatever materials, equipment, food, anything you can towards the shanty town. Towards getting them better shelter, getting them more food. That's where the profits go on my end.
This is okay. We'll do that. First things first. Let's get this place up and going. All right. So Sunday rolls around. Lucius spends the latter half of the day preparing for services. You guys kind of catch up with Bram and Durrier and the other members of your little group that I will give names at some point. And
And we would also mention that we've taken care of the situation with the Golden
Correct.
Circle. And,
Golden Circle will no longer be bothering you, or so they say.
right.
And
We believe that we've taken care of the problem.
Monday rolls around. You do services for Alistair and the other two town members, ReGen and Haas. And there is mourning and crying, and you get to play the Song of the Dead on your flute or pan flute. Which one did we say you do?
I have a flute.
Flute. So play Song of the...
I accompany him on the horn.
Okay. Play the Song of the Dead to lead the souls of the deceased.
I actually had music for this, but god damn it, this thing isn't working. But that's okay, it's playing on the stream anyway. So.
A for effort. I appreciate it. So unless there's anything you guys want to do, we will consider Monday kaput, and it's Tuesday morning.
So when we wake up Tuesday morning, there is no sweet shop in the tour, right?
No, in Latour there is no sweet shop.
So I go down to talk to God, the guy we just gave the gold to.
Durrier.
Durrier, and I say, Durrier, does any of your band know how to make sweet treats?
He looks up. He goes, "I don't think so. No."
So
Fix
none
it.
of the,
Well,
No,
you know,
no.
Merrick, if you are interested, you can always put a little bit towards your part of the profits to making sure that sweet treats are available. Oh, and for the love of God, if you could find anyone that makes a good ale, we'd love to have a good stock of ale here.
Did you enjoy the ale that we had, the Kingseeker?
It was good, but it wasn't quite the same. I was a bit spoiled when I was living out at Sir Andre's Keep. He had the lady at the inn there made the best ale. I think Emin actually tried it at one point.
Crap.
Yes, he did.
Crap.
Yeah, whatever. He's just a
right.
troublemaker. Don't listen to him.
So
Already, you can see on Tuesday though the group is very excited about their project, and they're doing starting to knock down walls and sending out groups to pick up supplies. So the wheels are already churning.
So I suggest to Durrier that, as time goes on, and they should think about learning how to make some various sweet treats if they can figure out how to do so, given what they're trying to do.
He smirks. He says, "I'll keep that in mind."
Any progress on the tour house logo at the front of the house, by the way?
He said, "Well, that'll be the last thing I do. I'm not going to put that up in the middle of construction, but once we finish renovating, it'll look nice. You'll be happy with it."
Fair enough. I guess we never discussed what we were doing after the services. So
Also,
what do you guys
worth
want to do
noting,
now?
you guys would have, as you were in town the last couple of days, it is 2 days away from the Midsummer Festival. It's a very big holiday. So just kind of FYI there as well.
And that festival will be happening
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Hmm. Well, we got these 2 missions we have to go look in on that are about in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about, right?
They're both east-northeast. The missing town, the missing woman in the town of Deming. Deming is the closer of the 2. And then there's the forest gnome town of Kelbar, just slightly further than that.
Are we gonna take the same road that we took to get here with the caravan, or?
No, you would be leaving out the south road of Hastow. So you'd head south actually initially before the road curves to the east.
We also just have to talk about whether or not we still feel safe being traveling around in house style. At some point, we need to at least look like we're going towards towards
Well, that southern gate is the way that you would leave to go in that direction.
Oh, I mean, we're right now we're in Latour, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm just saying, like,
The point is going on these 2 missions would put us in the direction that we would go.
sure, and then if we decided we wanted to come back here after that, we could maybe send Brennan to turn in the missions and handle the stuff in city. Now that we feel like we're not having a problem with the Golden Circle, and he's not either by association. But bottom line is, I'm worried about us being seen at this point. Now that we've collected the stuff we requested, and it's been a few days, and I can only imagine they're expecting us to be going after this mission.
I think it would behoove us to leave for some time and potentially not come back for a while.
Well, I mean, the travel time to these 2 towns, by the time you do both, is going to be 2.5 weeks each way. So going there and back, you're going to be gone at least 5 weeks.
And by then, they'll have everything going on up here. So we've left them good, and I wonder if it's a problem that we're not going to be around to do that favor for the Golden Circle now.
They said they would find us.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. Well, then I guess we're off. So we pack up the. So I would assume we're taking the cart.
Yep, you have the cart if you choose to take it, and horses for everybody.
So.
So I
pack it up for a good 5 weeks worth of journeying.
All right.
So I leave I send a note before we leave to Carly, letting her know that I'm going off on an adventure. And just some notes about hoping her mother is well, hoping the shop is well. Kind of explain that we've got this our guild house going on down south. That a man named Durrier is interested in learning how to make. Someone from Durrier's band is interested in learning how to make sweets, and that I hope to see her when I return.
Okay, that's easily enough to deliver. You guys have a bunch of bitches down there. You can send someone up there to do it.
That's right. While you're up there, maybe get a couple of recipes or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. There's some recipes for Durrier. So, but I look forward to seeing her when we return.
All right. So you guys heading off on the road toward Deming, then would be the first town you go to, assuming you go to them in the.
Yeah, the closer one. Yeah.
All right. So it's approximately 12 days until you reach the town of Deming. It is getting to be. So we leave on a Tuesday. You guys notice the morning of midsummer, it's tradition for priests of Ilmater to perform the Song of Dawn, symbolic of birth. So assuming Grendel doesn't blow it off, he would be up early that morning performing the Song of Dawn as the sun rises. You guys aren't in
I
town.
don't tell anyone. I just wake them up in the middle of camp. Just
What the
guys-
hell?
You guys would not be in town for the Midsummer Festival, so you would not be participating in it. And where was I?
Hashtag sorry if you prepared stuff for it.
Nope.
Okay.
On the on your on your fourth day out, as you're traveling down the by now the road has curved to the east. It's fairly hot weather on this um, hot summer's day, and you see a lone figure walking. She has a horse, or he has a horse, leading it, but they're walking along the road in the same direction you're going in. So you're coming up behind them, and walking very slowly. So you're slowly gaining on them as you guys are traveling at normal pace, I'm assuming.
yes,
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, we're not in a huge hurry.
Hey guys, point of information: did we take the cart?
We did.
Yes.
Yes,
So I'm riding in the cart.
I am driving the cart.
Cool.
I guess that puts me on a horse near the cart.
All right. When you guys get a little closer, you see this person turn. They see you coming, and they just kind of stop and pull to the side of the road as you guys go by.
I would, say hello. And
And you get up, you see it appears to be either elven or half-elven woman. It's about 5'3", long curly gray hair, brown eyes, and a very soft, beautiful face, but almost a gray, sickly complexion.
okay.
And has like a tired smile, and she just kind of nods in greeting as you go by. Nothing strikes you as out of the ordinary, other than she seems pale. Actually, let me see something quick.
I would, if she looked sickly to me, I would stop.
Okay.
The wagon
All right.
and just ask her, because I mean I'm a pre-civil mater. We handle everybody. Like
Sure.
we don't give a shit about faction.
All right.
Empire, not empire, human, elf. Just lean down and ask her, "Are you sick?"
She kind of looks at you and she says, "We'll make a medicine check."
Well, I was gonna let her tell me first, but I can make a medicine check. Sure, that's a 25.
Okay. Well, natural 22. She is 100% sick with something.
What ails you?
It is not something that you're familiar with. Make a what would this be? Diplomacy? Make a
Persuasion?
make a charisma check.
Just general charisma?
Yeah, just a general charisma check.
Alright. That's an 11.
Alright. So you stop the cart, you get off and walk over to her, and you just ask, "What's wrong?"
Yeah, it's just you look sick. What ails you?
As you come over, she's got her hand on her one of the daggers on her hips as she walk up. She's a little leery. She says, "Well, I'm very sick."
I can see that. Do you know what ails you?
She says, I don't know if there's a name for it, but nobody has been able to help me with it thus far."
Hmm.
She says, "What's it to you?"
Oh,
You see her kind of scoping out your traveling party behind you. She's sizing you guys up, it seems.
sure. Well, don't worry about them. They're harmless. I'm a priest of Ilmater.
kind of looks at you like, and
Well, if you're sick and suffering, and I am able to help you, I would be glad to.
make a persuasion check.
That's 10.
She make a perception check as well.
Oh man, that's real bad. That's a
12.
12.
It's not real bad.
That means I rolled a 5.
Oh, fair enough.
Plus 7 perception.
You get the
Yeah.
vibe.
Should have put you in that room with that lady. Anyway.
You get the impression as she starts to talk back to you is that she doesn't believe you, but that she wants to believe you. So her hand does not move from her weapon, but she says, "Well, if you're willing to help me, you would be the first. It's very hard for someone who looks like me to find help in this godforsaken place, in this Palor-forsaken place."
Yeah, I understand. You may know Ilmater serves all people and does not care for what faction or race they belong to.
She says, "Well, if your words ring true, not all of the priests who wear your cloth adhere to that same thing." You see her hand kind of drop from her dagger. She says, "I'm Gudris."
I'm Lucius. Nice to meet you.
She kind of wearily reaches out with a hand and gives you a very limp handshake. She says, "If you don't mind, I'm going to sit down. I'm very tired."
Of course. I'll motion Merrick over as well, because I know that he has some ability regarding disease and healing people.
So I hop down.
Okay.
Let's see. That would be interesting. So do I have 3rd level spells yet? I don't remember. I don't think I do yet.
No, not till 5th
No,
level.
yeah, 5th level.
Okay.
That's why I was looking up Revivify. I was like, when does he get that? Oh, soon.
Yeah, I was gonna see. I was actually yeah. There was a thing I was maybe gonna try, but let's see. So can I do this as a ritual? No. How late in the day is it?
We'll say early afternoon.
Early afternoon.
So since Lucius has motioned me over, I kind of walk up and say, "What seems to be the trouble?"
She's very sick. She's not sure what she's sick with.
And I kind of look at her and quietly, because I'm tentative of the fact that she's still holding her dagger.
No, she dropped her hand.
Okay,
She dropped her hand. I'm gonna turn to her and say, "This is my friend Merrick. He's very good with natural remedies. Between the two of us, hopefully, we'll be able to help you."
She holds her hands out and gives you a very weak handshake. She
I say,
says,
how long have you been this way?
She says, "A few weeks. The only thing I know is I did find a sympathetic priest in a small town to the west of here, and while he wasn't able to help me, he said that I have some form of rotting disease, and it works from the inside out."
Rotting disease?
Rotting disease. She said,
Necrotizing fasciitis.
She said, "So my bones are going first, and he thinks I only had a few weeks, maybe a few months." So with no one able to help me or willing to help me, I was hoping to find somebody, maybe a shaman in the forest, who would be willing to help me.
So I kind of pat her hand, and as I'm doing so, I cast Lesser Restoration.
Don't know if that'll work. The idea had crossed my mind as well.
I don't know why this is no HP. It's not supposed to heal with HP, but it's supposed to get rid of conditions.
Let's see.
Either one disease or condition. Yeah, I didn't see the disease part. Yeah, and I have that spell. I just didn't have it prepped. So
Want to see something?
Dispels rotting.
I mean, if it's a curse, we can drag her along until we get leveled up, and I can do remove curse on her.
Oh, if we just spend a couple more meetings together in these next episodes, we'll be level 5, right?
It's true. She when you do that, she kind of, you can tell she feels something, so she kind of pulls back her hand. She was a little surprised, and then after a moment, she says, "Well, that feels better. Um, whatever you did, I don't know if it did it, but it certainly helped."
How about this? You're headed the same way that we are. We've got a cart you could sit in the back of. We'll see if you're still feeling better, still feeling bad in a day or two, and if you are, we can see if there's anything else we can do.
You can kind of see she sighs a little bit, and she says, "Okay, that would actually be really helpful." And she kind of slowly
Oh,
saunters over to the cart. She ties
yeah.
her horse to the side of it, slowly climbs in the back, and pretty quickly passes out.
So through this whole interaction, I'm everything seems super genuine, but I want to just do an insight just to be sure.
Okay.
17.
Everything seems on the up and up.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So yeah, for Lesser Restoration, it says can be blinded,
Well,
deafened,
that's one of the
paralyzed,
conditions,
or
but it does
poisoned.
say it removes a disease.
You touch a creature at the end.
Oh,
and-
or condition.
and
I gotcha. Okay.
one disease or one condition.
I'm trying to pay more attention to when you guys do magic because
Yeah,
Because
makes
you're
total
about to
sense.
be
it's gonna
doing
be a few
magic.
days. I'm gonna be doing magic.
So that was about the halfway point between between Hastow and Deming. You guys do pass through a couple of small villages, no place of note on the way. You also actually the very next day on the horizon you see what looks like a group of orcs very similar in composition to the one you encountered on your way, your initial journey when you journeyed south from Terra.
What was this person's name again, by the way?
Gudris, Gudris, Gudris.
It's just session 6, right?
7, right?
Yep, we're on number 7.
That's
Say,
right.
say that name again. GUD what?
Gudris.
So you're adding her to the list.
Yep.
She's a half-elf female. She does have a lute, so you assume she's either a musician or a bard of some sort.
She's a bard.
She has a couple of daggers, carries a short bow.
At some point when she was conscious, I would have, nonchalantly, like not trying to be aggressive, but I would have been like, "Are you any good with those daggers?"
She says, "Well, Normally I can hold my own, but not right now.
Fair enough.
Are you guys going to attempt to interact with the orcs at all that are on the horizon, or just kind of keep on going?
I say we interact with them.
I'll stay back with the cart, and
I'll point
I move
at
with
Cringe
Cringe.
and be like, you should go say hi.
Yeah, I go with Cringe because we're the ones that talked to them. Assuming it's the same band, we're the ones that talked to them previously.
Okay. You ride up, the two of you.
As I'm writing, I look over to Merrick. I'm like, you realize that not all bands of orcs are exactly the same, right?
I look at him and I say, neither are gnomes.
Fair enough.
You get there. You realize pretty quickly it's definitely not the same tribe.
Yeah.
It's a group of half dozen. There are 6 of them, and when they realize you're riding up to them, they stop doing what they're doing, and they are skinning an elk. They're definitely a hunting party. They don't seem aggressive, but they also don't appear to be particularly friendly either, as they eyeball you as you guys trot up.
So I kind of I greet them in Orcish and congratulate them on their kill.
They tentatively respond with a well met. Are you proficient in nature, both of you, or just one of you?
I am not proficient, I don't think, in nature. No.
I'm proficient in nature.
Yeah, I was pretty sure you were married.
Yeah, just survival, animal handling, perception. Go figure on the perception.
You recognize, Merrick, all 3 of them are wearing Ankeg breastplates.
Mm-hmm. That's the ant thing we fought.
Yep. And so I look at them and I compliment them on their armor.
And then they thank you, and the 2 of them, when it seems like you guys aren't going to start anything, 2 of them go back to the elk, but the other 4 are still watching you warily.
I mentioned that we found a sick half elf, and that he seems to have a rot condition, and that I'm trying to heal her, but was wondering if they've seen any other evidence of it in the area.
Make a persuasion check.
Ugh.
Would I know generally how orcs feel about elves?
Yeah, just kind of general knowledge. Most of the orcs tribes, at least on this side of the river, probably wouldn't have too many interactions with them. And actually, Merrick would know this more than you would, because he would have walked through this territory. As the elves conquer the northern half of Malande, one of the sources of slaves that they get is they make repeated forays into the orc forests in the northern half of the river. So the orcs in the northern half of the river will absolutely hate the elves and have withdrawn further into the forest to avoid those slaving forays.
But these are southern.
These ones are at the very, very southern tip. So bring it up here.
They're less likely to feel
Right.
hatred towards them.
You can see the map, that the river that runs through Terra there.
Yeah, these are the angry orcs. These
Yeah.
are the less angry ones.
The ones that are in here would be the ones that are getting the worst of it. They would have pulled back more this way. And you guys are kind of, so the ones, you guys are about someone here somewhere. So the ones that you're encountering were probably from, bless you, probably from down here.
What was
And
that?
Oh, sorry. I thought I muted myself. That's my bad.
technically north of the river, but these ones down here haven't had as many actions as these.
Oh, and we're currently way down here, aren't we?
No, Hastow is right here. Oop, my little dry thingy went away. Hastow is here.
Right.
What's the hell the name of that town again?
I'm wondering if my map is different than yours right now, because maybe I'm zoomed in.
Oh,
You might be
something.
zoomed in.
maybe.
Because where
So-
you're doing your dots are like way. They're
Oh.
not.
That's weird. That shouldn't affect it at all. But you guys should. The town you're going to is about here, and then the second town you're going to is about up in here.
Let me do some real fast, because this is Hastow on my map.
Everyone else sees it okay, right?
That's Hastow right there on mine.
Yeah. And then you see the other little dots where the other two.
The other little dots, the first one is like right in the bottom
Yep,
of that
perfect.
forest.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
So it's just like at the bottom tip of that forest.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm tipping on the bottom part of the forest right now.
Weird. So the answer is once they interact with them, they strongly don't like them, just because elves consider them easy source of slaves. But the ones in this area have had less opportunity to interact with them.
Okay.
That's my bad, guys. Normally I have a keybind for push to mute, but it got reset for some reason.
No,
Oh, no,
all good.
all good. I was just being like, whoa, that was a sneeze.
Yeah, I sneezed big. Sorry. But unlike our new DM, I'm better at usually better at the push to mute key.
Yep, I just sneeze away.
Not you, our new DM.
Oh,
The guy
right, yeah, he kept sneezing. Yeah.
Kaboom.
And he kept getting really mad at himself too for sneezing. So it's kind of funny actually.
God,
Okay.
I sneezed. I'm such an idiot.
God damn it. And then,
So-
and then you're like, no, it's fine. He's like, no, don't give it credit. Like, it was a separate entity.
All right, calm down, dude. It's fine. Like, no, it's not.
There's me, and then there's my sneezes.
He responds with basically, no, I don't know. He kind of isn't really interested in that topic of conversation, it seems.
So I do an insight on that. I mean, I'm kind of looking at him like, okay, like I know stuff about orcs. So I'm understanding. So I'm kind of trying to read him. If he has any thoughts.
No, he's pretty nondescript about it. He's giving you a very one-sided conversation. He's answering questions if you ask of him, but he's not really contributing to the conversation.
I'm gonna ask him if you know of any dangers or anything we should be on the lookout for around this area. Other than those onkigs, I'm gonna kind of motion towards his armor.
Yeah, he says there have been some troll sightings in the neighborhood, so be wary.
Oh, all right.
I bid him good a continued good hunt.
He nods, and if you guys leave, he'll go about his business.
All right. Yep. We out.
All right. So one more day.
While that was going on, I would have been talking with. God, I keep forgetting her freaking name. Gudrus.
There you go.
Yeah. I would be talking to her, be like, "Hey, are you feeling better? Because it's been like a couple days, right?"
It's been a day, so two days would be tomorrow.
Okay. It's like, how are you feeling today?
She says, "Well, I'm not." She says, "I don't feel better, but I stopped feeling worse." So
okay, then.
it says like before she was feeling worse and worse and worse every day, and now she doesn't feel worse than she did yesterday. She just feels the same.
I'm going to I'm gonna say to her, let me try something, and ask her to hold out her hand.
Okay, she reluctantly does so.
I'm going to kind of clasp her hand in both of mine, and I'm going to do cure wounds on her at level 2.
Okay.
So let's see. Number of hit points 1d8 plus spellcasting modifier, so it'd be 2d8. Oh,
Okay,
damn!
You heal her.
That's 20.
Her damn well.
And I'm gonna ask her, is it better? Is there any change?
She says no, it doesn't feel like there's any change.
And do you know what caused this? Do you know what you contracted this disease from?
She hesitates before answering, and she says, "No, I'm not really sure."
Can I insight check that?
You may insight check that.
I'm gonna be like, come on, you can tell me.
She is not telling the truth to your knowledge, and she doesn't seem particularly keen on discussing the subject.
Well, I'll say if you let me know how you got it, we might be able to find a better way to help combat it.
She says, "I'll keep that in mind."
I will nod and respect her request to remain private about it. And I think that's probably it for now.
Okay. So the orcs leave you to your thing. You guys travel for
Hey, one more thing. The next day,
Mhm.
I am. I want to prepare detect poison and disease,
Okay.
and the next morning, I'm going to, with her permission, cast that on her, and it will tell me what disease she has.
From the best that you can tell, she's no longer afflicted by any disease.
Okay.
However, the lesser restoration did not restore the damage dealt to her body by the disease for the time that which she had it.
Shouldn't the cure wounds that I did have done that though?
No, because it's not wounds that need to be cured. She's taken ability score damage.
Uh,
Ah.
Condrain, you bastard. Okay. Um. Hmm. I didn't even know Condrain was a thing in 5e. Okay. Cool. I'll have to.
So it doesn't appear to be getting worse, but the damage that was done to her body for the course of the disease is not recovering, and as best as you can tell, won't through the course of
Yeah,
normal
time won't heal it. Yeah.
time won't heal it.
Um. Hmm.
So go on.
So the next day, I'll go back to my standard spell setup that I almost
Okay.
always use.
A couple more days go by, and
Did you explain that to her, or did you just?
Um. I did not explain that to her because um, that I feel like would be kind of crossing into me pressuring, hey, what caused this to you? And she doesn't
Oh.
want to tell me that.
the next couple days seem to confirm your diagnosis that she is not getting better, nor is she getting worse.
Hmm.
But she does seem less sickly, um, but seems physically weak. And on a couple more days out, you're just a short ways, for another couple days before arriving in Deming. On the horizon, you see an overturned cart on the side of the road. There doesn't appear to be any people or animals around, but there looks to be some kind of debris near the cart, but you can't really tell at this distance exactly what it is. It's basically right at the limits of your vision.
I want to make kind of like a scanning look just around to see if I see anyone or anything, maybe smoke from nearby fires or anything like
No,
that
it's
around.
actually a pretty wide open area, other than the very kind of tip of the forest far off to the north, basically right at the edge of where you can kind of perceive it. Otherwise, it's pretty open. It's just kind of a slightly rolling hills with a road going through, and this
So
overturned
nothing
cart.
remarkable.
Nothing really remarkable.
I'm gonna look over to
Oh.
Merrick. I'm like, how do you feel? Is your bird around by any chance?
And I say Pooh.
Uh-huh.
Pooh's always about.
Okay, you can spend a few minutes to bring Pooh around.
How do you feel about us doing a little scouting mission before we head on up there?
So I communicate with Pooh what we're looking for, wanting to get some information about what's over, kind of up there. And
Okay.
say
And I'd
hello
like
say
to
hi.
ritual cast Beast Sense.
Which does what?
If I touch a willing animal,
Mhm.
then I can see through his eyes for 10 minutes.
Oh, spicy. All right. So you give Pooh a little pet, and sit on the ground so you don't fall over. And
Yeah,
you're a little.
while this is going on, I cannot see or hear anything, but I
So
can
you're
feel touch. So I tell Merrick, just tap me a couple times if I need to come out of this.
All right. So you sit down on the ground, and you're a little disorienting at first because you've never been in a bird before, and you're kind of a little kind of motion sick.
Mm-hmm.
But he does fly over, and he does a little lap, and you can see on the opposite side of the cart from where you guys are. So from where you are standing, you won't be able to see it, but from the air you can. There is a large green creature leaning against the back side of the cart. He appears to be napping, sleeping. There's multiple smashed barrels all around the cart, just kind of general what's like stuff from the cart that's been wrecked and turned over. Can you hear or just see, or you get to pick?
I can't sense anything myself, but I get all of
Well,
the
I mean,
all of the
so you can-
creature's senses. Yeah.
okay. So and the whatever the creature is snoring very loud.
Do I get any sense of what the green creature is?
Get nature check.
That would be a 20.
It is a troll.
And I can still speak, I just can't hear anything, so I'm telling everybody what I'm seeing. It's turned over, and I see a troll, but he's sleeping.
Emmett says, let's kill it.
I come out of it, and I'm like, well, what do you guys think? We could try to sneak up on it if you like.
I would like to know what I know about trolls.
Same here, actually, yeah. Are they really strong, or...?
Is that history, nature?
I think that would be a nature check.
So I'm guessing I can't take my 20 nature check to then know what trolls are.
Emin
Merrick.
has no idea. He's never heard of a troll.
No. The worst part is that wasn't a natural one.
Yeah, no, that was...
What I know exactly what you're asking, Grendel, and Merrick is aware of their limit. Who would share that information?
And what,
Yeah.
and
You
what
broke
am I
up, what?
What Grendel's basically asking is, do I know that fire will negate their regeneration? And Merrick would know that fire does indeed negate their regeneration.
Yeah.
Trolls will regenerate their wounds unless you use fire or acid on them.
And do we like trolls, like as a general rule, or are they pretty much just are they monsters?
Trolls are stupid and hungry, and everything is food to them.
Yeah, they're not like brainless monsters, but they're whatever one step up from that is.
Okay, so they're
very
not something
feral still.
Yeah, I mean they are intelligent enough to talk. You can
Yeah, they're like a step up from feral, but just barely. Like it's smart enough to wear a loincloth, and that's about it.
I mean, we could go around it. That is an option, but do I get a sense of whether, do I have a sense of whether or not we would be able to kill a troll? Like, what our odds would be?
Trolls have a reputation for being fairly tough. You guys are no slouches yourselves, though.
I would turn to the party and ask, do we have any way to keep it from healing?
Yeah. We kill it.
So
I tell Emin to be quiet for a while.
Does holy flame count the same way as fire? I guess not, huh? Like a
Depends on how
sacred,
the
like
damage is.
like a
Is it-
sacred
damage
flame.
described. How's the damage described?
Sacred flame would be that's divine damage. That's holy damage.
Okay.
So I explain that, though I spend most of my time as a bear, you guys have seen me create a bonfire, when I choose to. And
That's fire damage. That would do it.
Yep. And the other thing that I explain is, and this goes back to us probably shouldn't having had this stuff prepped. I mean, it's in my spell book, on my character sheet, but I also prepped a flaming spear.
Okay. Well, that would definitely do it as well.
So I look at Crunch and say, "You're going to get your wish. I'm probably not going to be much of an animal this time around."
All right. Well, I'm up for it if you guys are. Rid the world of one more of these monsters.
I look at Brennan and at our elf companion, and I say, Brennan, you need to take care of Goodrus if we're going up this hill.
She says, I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself. Do you guys need help?
If you're offering, absolutely.
She says, well, I'm not going to run in there and stab the thing, but I'll do what I can from a safe distance.
Do you have anything with fire that you can implement from a distance?
She says
She looks
no.
at her spell list.
Yeah, that's what she does. She says no, but I have some tricks up my sleeve.
All right. Well, let's go.
So, I suggested, since it's asleep, Emmett, Demon, do you want to take Brennan and try to sneak up on it and see if we can't?
I think Emin needs to stay back, kind of like Gudra here. I don't think he's ready to be face to face with a troll yet. That's why we bought him the short bow.
Well, the thing is still on the horizon. Like, you guys, I assume you haven't run up to
No.
close-ish to it, right?
No.
So Brennan says, well, why don't we get within range? We can, Merrick can give me a little bonfire, and we can fire some flaming bolts in there.
Hey.
Light the tips of the arrows, yeah.
And I slap him on the shoulder. And I'm like, now you're earning your keep. Let's go. Now I'm excited.
All right, so all of you guys start working your way quietly over to the cart. Sorry here. Where? Sorry, my thing is being difficult here. Why can't I find what? Oh, I know why I can't find what I'm looking for. Because I'm not in the right place. Oh.
I think it's time for some
There we go.
battle music.
Did you switch the what we're looking at?
Not yet.
Okay. Is this now Hasto?
I'm not on
It's right here.
God bless, this Zoom thing is all screwed up for me.
Are you using the slider on the right there?
I must have at one point.
Well, even so, if I use that slider, yeah, that slider doesn't like ruin it for me. Like,
Aha! Now GroovyBot wants to work.
He wants to.
By the way, you guys might want to turn down GroovyBot. It looks like it was reset.
Oh no, it's really low for me.
Okay.
I can't even hear GroovyBot.
I had to turn mine up. It was really low.
Oh yeah, mine's at 4%.
Yeah, mine was at 3.
Mine was at 100, so all of a sudden it was like, whoa, there you are.
Yeah. We found Groovy.
Alright. And one more, and then we can do this.
Groovy!
Oh, apparently.
Means I need to resize this a little bit. It's like maintenance is at like Tuesday at 5:30 to like I don't know 9. Like what the hell, man?
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Okay, let me switch screens here.
Ooh. Map time. The other map, not the map, but
That's not where you guys are. I just put your tokens there.
ah.
You guys would be coming from the south. So go ahead and put yourselves where you want to be.
Can't move. All right, now I can.
There you go. And ping me where you want your 2 helpers.
So south is down here, right?
Yep.
We'll probably want.
I would sneak and tell him about there,
Okay.
and then I would wait.
So we need Amon to move over here.
Well, we wanted our rogues to have a bonfire and be at such an angle that they could shoot at the thing. So we want
And
the rogues to
Emin-
be over
And
here.
then says strongly to he should take the first shot.
To who?
So from
Emin
over here.
does that.
Emin wants to take the first shot.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Like,
Outside a game,
I'll-
you want Emin to take the first shot.
Sure. And so what I tell him is, go ahead and approach from the right, and I'll approach from the left, so we can try and flank him. But I'll wait until you go.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm staying back here where we're gonna keep the rogues to protect them, just in case he decides to run up on them before I get a chance to go in. Oh, the rogues are over there. Okay.
Well, if you want the ranged weapons with an angle, that's where they got to be.
Oh, okay.
Or they could be over here.
No, you're right.
actually, Jay, I think we might want to be like more over this way, because if that troll decides it wants to charge towards them, we want to be able to intercept it. Because we want the troll to not get into melee with our squishy.
All right.
Just saying.
So I would have been here then.
And I'm going to cast a bonfire here.
Oh, I guess it's here.
Where do you want it?
Can I draw the shape? Freehand?
You could, yeah. I think you can. If you can't, just ping it and I can. Oh, there you go. That's fine. So there's your bonfire there.
I mean, I guess we might as well all be grouped then if we're gonna sit over here.
Go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay.
17 for Crunch.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Wow.
Well, it's asleep, so we
Huh?
get like
We get a surprise round if we don't wake it up, yeah.
I tried to do worse than you. On your roll initiative. Never mind. I rolled.
you can just add your dex to that. That'll give you initiative.
Oh, you guys put your damn things in. Okay, hold on.
So I rolled a 1.
No, it's fine. Hold on. Who else is already down there? And
Rolled a 2, so I get 5.
French, what was yours?
17? Guess what I want it to do is I want it to play the whole thing. That was very good troll battling music.
Alrighty then. Gudris is going to put an arrow in the fire and ready in action to fire after Eamon does. Now it's Crunch's turn.
So,
The way to do this, by the way, if you want to let them go first, is you ready in action to I will charge it after such and such thing happens. So that way you could say, like, I'm going to ready in action after Eamon fires his arrow, I will charge.
okay, so okay. But I would have to move. I can't ready movement.
Well,
Well,
he's saying you can. He's saying you can ready a charge.
You can ready in action. So the action is move.
Well, but then the action wouldn't be attacking. So
You can ready a single action.
okay, can I? Is it possible for me to bonus action rage without making a bunch of noise?
You want to whisper rage?
Yeah, I'm gonna bonus action rage, but quietly.
Okay.
And
Okay, I think we can do that.
I am going to ready my javelin to throw at him as soon as either I see Emin attack or before my next turn comes around and I lose my rage bonus.
Okay, fair enough. Crunch, Lucius.
I am readying Toll the Dead if he takes damage.
Okay. And Merrick.
So I'm trying to think, because the bonfire doesn't require concentration.
Does it? Or does it not?
It does not, because it's a
Okay.
cantrip. And if I do a spell that requires concentration, I can only do one at a time, correct?
Correct. You can cast another spell while the concentration was going on, but if you cast another one with concentration required, the first one will end.
Okay.
If you cast one that doesn't, then it's fine.
All right, 'cause I'm just trying to figure out if, I mean, basically it's my turn, but there's not nothing I can really prepare to do.
You could ready it for. You can say, "I'm going to ready an action to cast first level spell when Eamon attacks."
Yeah, see, I'm not sure. I kind of want to see how it develops because I'm gonna cast Entangle. So I mean, I don't want to necessarily like do anything. I don't want to like necessarily ready it because if the game if the troll goes a certain direction, I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and the thing is, so for example, you could say, "I ready Entangle to cast it if he moves past this card." If he
Okay.
doesn't do that and you don't cast the spell, you still lose it though. Just FYI.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna do. I'm just gonna. I'm like
Sit tight.
I'm gonna sit tight and be like I cast a bonfire, bro.
Okay, Eamon, you're up.
Yeah, I'm
Alright.
chilling.
Dip the arrow in the fire.
Okay, you roll. You get advantage because it is prone.
Well, I get advantage no matter what.
Well, you get centuple advantage then.
Woo! I'll take it with the way I've
Roll
been rolling.
16 dice. But out of the first two that you roll, take the highest one.
Okay,
Does it-
well, you hit.
Cool. Then on top of that, because I have assassinate and he has not taken a round in, it's automatically a critical.
Okay, so roll damage again plus sneak attack damage.
Well, it would
Well,
just
you-
be double the damage that's there, right?
No, you're supposed to roll the damage a second time, not double. So go ahead and roll,
Okay.
roll your damage die, and then roll your sneak attack damage.
Goose, by the way, these are my prep spells.
Beautiful.
There's
Okay.
that.
So 14 plus your sneak.
And then, yep. Where is that? Sorry,
And you double the sneak attack damage too.
On a critical, do you?
Yeah,
Good,
you do.
because that sucked.
14.
So just roll that again and add it. 11.
You're taking the double.
How much was that?
28, I believe. Oh, no, 25 actually.
Okay.
Now you understand how you got hurt so badly with the chisel?
The creature starts roaring and waking up, and immediately Goodris fires her short bow as well.
And I throw my spear, my javelin.
She misses poorly. Go ahead and roll to hit crunch.
That is going to be a.
He's still prone, so you get advantage.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically, if they're prone, ranged weapons get disadvantage.
Okay, so it would just be a straight roll then.
Sure.
Okay, so then it's a 19 to hit.
That does hit.
Okay, and let's see. Javelin is 1d6 piercing.
Plus your strength.
So 8 piercing damage.
All right. Let's see. Crunch. Lucius.
It needs to make a wisdom save. DC 14.
16. So it passes the wisdom.
Told the dead does nothing.
All right. Merrick, you can do anything. Oh, Brennan has to roll. Brennan dips his bolt in there and fires, and hits for maximum 8 points of damage.
Attaboy.
Does he get sneak attack?
Yes, he does actually. Thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of shit to keep track of it. I assume it's probably only one. Oh yeah, there's one. He said. Or more. And that was Eamon's turn. So the creature is awake, roaring in rage and pain, with patches of fire on its wounded body, with multiple bolts and javelins and arrows sticking out of it. And now it is Gidris's turn again. She dips another arrow and fires away. And misses terribly again. Crench, you're up.
Alright, so I'm going to charge to here. And I'm going to attack recklessly with weight behind it.
All right.
With my great axe.
All right.
17 to hit.
Does hit. Damage.
That is 19 damage.
All right. You roll up there with your great axe. Yeah, great axe.
Yeah.
And swing and just take a huge chunk out of its leg. It stares at you with hatred in its eyes as it grimaces in pain. And now it is Lucius's turn.
Let's see. Both of those are con, and I'm guessing this thing has pretty high con. Let's go for it anyway.
All right.
We're gonna try blindness / deafness on him. Let's see. I gotta be within 30 feet, so it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's within 30 feet.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna move. I'm just gonna attempt to hit him with the blindness and deafness.
All right. Wisdom, or you said con save?
It is a con save.
Natural 20, so he passes the save.
Wow.
Feels bad. Okay.
I will tell you, all of my die rolls today have been like 16 or above and like 5 or below. Pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he could have passed that with like an 8. So I'm going to I'm gonna cast spiritual weapon as well because that one's a bonus action.
All right.
And let's see, I can create that within 60 feet. So I will put it here. And it will attack him.
Okay, roll to hit.
Oh yeah, that's a 22.
That will hit. Roll damage.
Let's see, what do we need to do for damage? 1d8, yep, 1d8 plus spellcasting modifier. So would that be 6 damage, I think?
Okay.
No, that'd be
6.
7. No, 3. My proficiency
spell-
plus caster level, isn't it?
You don't get proficiency for damage. I think just if you roll to hit. When you roll to hit, you get damage.
Let's see, it's...
Well, if it's your spellcasting modifier, then it would be your bonus from
spellcasting
whatever the
modifier is
spell.
the
Your
wisdom.
spellcasting, it's 1d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Right, so plus 4. Your spellcasting ability modifier is wisdom.
Well, right, I only have plus 3 on wisdom.
Oh, so it'd be plus 3 then. Let's table it and look it up. I'm pretty sure on the to hit roll is like, for example, if you use a sword, you use your proficiency to hit, but you don't get your proficiency in damage. So I'm assuming the same would be the case on a spiritual weapon. You get your proficiency to hit, not to damage.
Oh, okay.
Right? I mean, it seems to make sense. But here, let me see if we hit the Googler real quick. Does spiritual weapon?
If a spell states to add spellcasting ability modifier, do I just add the modifier or the full spellcasting? If a it's spiritual weapon uses your bonuses. Okay, so spellcasting ability modifier is simply the ability score modifier for the attack, in this case wisdom. Okay, you're right.
There you go. Perfect. All right, so that's, unless you're moving, that's the end of your turn.
That is it.
Okay. Brennan dips another bolt and tries very carefully not to hit Crench. And he does not hit Crench, but he doesn't hit anything. Now it is Merrick's turn.
Did Gudrus hit this turn?
Nope,
No.
she has rolled terribly every time.
Bummer. So he's got no fire damage this turn.
No fire damage this turn.
Not yet.
If I cast entangle and it crenches inside of that, he would be affected by the entangle as well, right?
Yes, he would.
A spell will let you know if you can. It'll say creatures you select or creature.
Or allies.
Or enemies.
Yeah. So if it just says all creatures, then yeah.
Yes, it's a creature in the area.
Well,
A
a
creature.
creature is 1, so you just pick
A
the
creature is 1. Yeah.
Well, it's 20 feet, so I would have to. It's not going to be just one at that point, I would assume.
Well, it just says a creature.
But
It's
if it
one
says a
creature.
it's 1. Let's look it up. I have it open right here. Entangle. Entangle. Grasping weeds sprout from the ground in a 20-foot square, starting from a point within range. For the duration, these plants turn the ground into difficult terrain. A creature in the area, when you cast the spell, must. So you can target one creature, but Crench would be affected by the difficult terrain, but he would not be entangled by it because the entanglement itself only targets a single creature.
I see. Okay.
But I mean, like, you can just do these 4 squares right here.
Right.
The troll literally takes up 20 feet.
You just have to be 20 feet within like one of those squares.
Right.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and do that.
All right, so he needs to make a strength save against your spell DC. That's going to be close. What's your spell DC?
Where do I'm?
It's going to be your 8 plus your spellcasting modifier, which would be Wisdom,
Right.
plus your proficiency bonus, which would be 2. So what's your Wisdom bonus?
Wisdom modifier is 4.
4. So it's going to be 8 plus 4, which is 12, 13, 14, and he rolled a 14 exactly. So he passes the save.
So how do we get to 14? I'm sorry. How did we do
Okay,
that?
so any spell save DCs, you start with 8. 8's the base number.
Okay.
You add your spellcasting ability modifier, the Wisdom in your case, plus 4, So 8 plus 4 is 12. And
Okay.
then you get your proficiency bonus as well, which is +2 at 4th level. So that brings us to 14.
Okay.
So it's basically anytime your spell DC, they ask for it, it's 14, unless you have some other modifier in it. Right? And when you guys go up to 5th level, I'm pretty sure the proficiency goes up to +3. So it would go up to 15.
But he is still in difficult terrain, so to move
He is
out of
still in
there, he's
difficult
going to have to spend double movement. So
Correct. Okay, that was Merrick's turn. Are you moving, Merrick, or are you staying put?
I'm gonna go ahead and stay put.
Okay. So that brings us to the troll's turn. He starts wailing on the giant orc in front of him. 24 hits
yeah.
for 7 points of piercing damage, so half that to 3.
Okay.
And then it's 2 other attacks. That one misses. Does 18 hit though?
Yes.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 halved, so 5 more points of damage.
Okay.
It bites you and claws you and attacks you and is very smelly.
Stinky
All
boy.
right.
And now that brings us to Aemon's turn.
Alrighty.
And you noticed also, Crench, that its wounds were starting to heal.
Am I able to fire an arrow?
Yep, he
What
just
was
gets
that?
a little bonus to his AC because he's in melee.
Okay. And let me double check here. Alrighty. I'll light a fire and light an arrow and fire another.
Fire away.
I just want to make sure I got sneak attack. So
Would you get sneak attacks too?
Yeah,
Yep.
he's in melee. As long as the
as long
creature's
as
in
somebody's
melee.
in melee
Oh, okay.
within
Fair
5
enough.
feet of another one.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm trouble finding the spot. There it is.
14 misses. Just barely.
Doesn't he have advantage with sneak attack?
No.
Okay.
That
He
brings-
gets sneak attack if he has advantage. Like, that's true.
But it
but-
doesn't work the other way around. Okay.
Right.
Are you moving or are you staying put? And how long does bonfire last, by the way?
1 minute.
I will assume
Correct.
you guessed it right at the last minute.
I'll stay.
That brings us to Gudris. She once again knocks an arrow and fucking misses. Jesus. Okay.
I just kind of look over at her, and I don't say anything. I just kind of look real quick.
I know. Crench, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to kind of skirt around him. I'm not going to leave his melee, but I'm going to move 6 tiles around so that, anybody else could get a good shot at him, or maybe even move into range so I could have advantage without having to reckless attack with weight behind it.
So the bonfire's gone now, right?
15 to hit.
15 hits.
Okay. So that is 23 damage.
Nice. You almost cleave its arm all the way off. It's hanging there by a thread, and he's very wounded, but still alive.
All right. That's my turn.
Lucius.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Poke.
I am going to attempt to give him a thwacky thwack with my glaive.
Okay, roll to hit.
Okay. Do. Oh, I think that'll probably do it.
That'll hit, that'll hit.
That's 17
That
something.
hits.
So that's a D10.
Wait, do you get flanking advantage, don't you?
Oh yeah, I
What-
do. I suppose I
what
can
do
roll
you
and see if I get a crit.
Yeah.
No. That's 3 damage. However, I am also going to Touch of Death him,
All right.
which that's going to be 5 plus twice my cleric level, so that's 11 more damage.
All right.
And the spiritual weapon will also attack him.
Okay. You see black necrotic energy ravaging the troll's body. 15 does hit.
Okay. 2 plus 3 is 5.
Okay.
And I will stay right there.
Okay. And that brings us to Brennan. He dips his arrow or his bolt in there, fires, and hits.
Yes.
Boy.
For 4 damage, you see the bolt pierce the side of its neck. The creature drops.
Hey. Brennan got himself a kill.
It drops to the ground like it's
It does drop to the ground. Merrick, it's your turn.
So I go ahead and because the bonfire's out now, right?
Oh, actually, no, it doesn't matter. He took fire damage this turn, so he won't regenerate. Cause,
Right, yeah, Brennan-
put the fire damage on him. Yep. So, yep, he's dead.
just to be sure I'm going to decapitate it.
Okay.
I'll help you
And
with
another
that.
body starts growing out of the head.
No,
Which, by the way, is an
Remove the
option.
head and 2 shall replace it.
There is a variant for trolls that do that.
yeah, I've never seen that variant before, but that sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me.
Try cutting off its arms. Oh god, it's got 2 arms now.
All right, so the troll is defeated, and the smelly remains of what is left. You stand in the midst of what looks to be some kind of an ale cart, like it was delivering ale. So the troll was probably drunk and snoring it off, because there are a lot more busted up barrels than there is ale smashed on the floor. But there does not appear to be any sign of whoever had the cart in the first place. No horses, no people.
I'm gonna see if the troll has anything on him, any gold or... I'll loot the body.
The troll does not have anything on its person.
Oh,
He's got a pocket full of some animal guts or something.
is there anything around the cart? Yeah.
Make an
Any-
investigation check.
Alright. Can I maybe do that with advantage because Emin is helping?
Sure.
Or, okay.
Or
Never
Merrick
mind.
finds it. He goes, "Is this what you're looking for?"
Yeah, thanks. What do we find?
There is a small envelope kind of mashed into the mud.
Okay, I'll open it.
Open
Well,
it.
I'll handle it. I'll hand it to someone who can read it.
Okay.
Merrick, I guess.
Sure, Merrick, you open it up. There's a coin string in it, because all the coins have a hole in the middle, so it's an easy way to carry them. It has 5 platinum pieces inside on
Ooh.
it. And also inside, crumpled and smashed, is a letter. And the letter reads, "Reggie, the piece you commissioned is ready. Please pick up at your convenience. The balance of 250 gold is due. Regards, Lily." And it's on. It has the or the card itself has a like what the God, what's the word I'm thinking of? The like emblem or logo of a merchant
Seal?
company. Yeah, like on the sides of the barrels, which you can see. And you recognize it as one of the merchant companies from, although you don't remember the name off the top of your head, it is one of the merchant companies based in Haston.
Do we have any idea where the cart was headed?
Nope.
So it's just kind of there.
If the way it's tilted, it looks like it would have been going the same direction you guys are going.
Okay, and so it's a letter from Lily to
Gilly,
Gilead.
Gilly, Gilly,
Gilly.
A letter
in
from
Gilly.
Gilly to Reggie, and the cart appears to have been a merchant cart from one of the merchant carts houses in Hastow, and it
Okay.
appears to have been heading east, delivering ale somewhere.
Are there any full things of ale, or is it just all busted up?
No, they are all busted.
All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and take the 5 platinum pieces and hand them out between the 4 of us, and one for Brennan. I'll say, "Nice shot," and I'll look over to Gundress and I'm like, "Well, we might give you something if you hit something next time." And I'll start walking back towards our caravan.
She looks at you. She says, "I think that's fair."
So 1 platinum piece is worth 10 gold.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just gonna add 10 gold for sake of ease.
And that is where we will end the evening.
All right.
Try to get you guys at least one little combat encounter in today.
Sure, that was well done. You dropped the hint about the troll, and we got ourselves a troll.
And that is the perfect example of the difference between combat you can prepare for and combat you can't prepare for.
Right. And that went extremely well.
It did.
Well,
Turns out
It was
trolls are
rough
much easier to
because-
kill when they're drunk and passed out to start the fight.
What do you know?
when we all stacked on the right and I realized you guys were going into melee, I was like, I wanted to pipe up and be like, don't do that. Archers won't be able to fire. And then I remembered he has a 7 in intelligence and kept my mouth shut.
Well, on the
Nice.
flip side of that, though, is if he decided to charge the archers and there's no fighters there, there's no one to stop him from doing so.
True.
We'll do experience next time.
Cool.
It's not going to make a difference.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much.
I know Andrew's got to bounce. He's on a different time zone and got to get up early and all that shit.
Yep.
It's in a different time zone. Are you in the DFC
No, I'm in Mountain Time.
Mountain Time?
Yeah, we were talking about
doing
Denver, Colorado.
Not the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
Good luck.
Alrighty, later.
Better dudes. Good games tonight, guys. Always.
Jeez.
Yeah, good games. Alright. I'm gonna go walk the dog and then I will probably be back if you guys are all still on here.
Alright, cool. Alright, but this seems like a good time to close out the stream, so we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.